Computer is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
They're playing our tune, aren't they, Victor? Welcome to eRGP, eRacing GP. We are on the global edition at week 3 of 4 of season 18. These seasons just keep on rolling on, and you, the guys who do all the racing, you are turning up in your hundreds.
Turning hundreds indeed. Like, you're shocked to actually see the amount of entries we had this season, isn't it?
It's fantastic from all over the region as well. Lots from Indonesia who are doing well in the overall championship standings, and the Philippines, as well as the home Malaysians. But yeah, really pleased that you've taken eRGP on board, and wherever you are, good luck with your racing today.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day for racing here today, as we are going to be having our third round, the penultimate round, as it were, for this season. So that means only one more goes, and that's going to be in next week. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. So today we're going to be having some good racing here. Got the whole stacked grid, all vying for a lot of points here, and certainly going to be a lot of consternation if they don't hit their marks for this time around. So let's have a look at the championship winners for the last season. The championship leaders currently for the season right now. So for the gold class, we've got Muhammad Tasbih from Singapore holding the lead in that championship. And the silver class is held by Apisak Chongkitawakul. Hopefully I didn't butcher the name too hard there, given he's from Thailand. Yash Qayyum leads the bronze class here from Malaysia. And in the copper class, Bimar Surya still remains in the lead of this championship after 2 rounds here in the global edition.
Yeah, Bima's had a very good season so far. Apisak will decide to call on for the Thai guy leading the way. And as we were mentioning before, regions represented 4 different countries leading the 4 different classes. That's really good. Quick reminder, X-Park, Royal Selangor and Axel, thank you for your continued support of the global edition of eRGP. So then, let's move on just a little bit.
Yep.
And to the team standings, where Swift Sim Racing from Philippines lead the way. 186 points for them. Velocity Pantera Downshift Racing. They could make these names easier a little bit easier for us. Handshake Sim Racing in third on 133. JPRT and Overme Esports, who also have one of the championship leaders, I think, in their team.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, Velocity Pantera Downshift, I believe that's a partnership between different groups, as well as a cyber cafe that runs sim racing as well. Hence the really long and complicated name going on there. But it's an all Malaysian affair going on over that side, and particularly again, just see the level of international representation, right? Like, you got Philippines leading in the team standing, you got plenty of Malaysians, plenty of Indonesians as well, a big comer in this season itself, and of course Overme bringing a lot of that Thai spice to the championship here.
Stratos Motorsports down in P10. Gosh. Not used to seeing that. That's good. That means there's more teams coming in. There's more competition for the normal big boys of the sport.
Yep, so let's have a look now at the Nations Cup itself, as I alluded to. So Indonesia currently just only got overtaken by Malaysia by 10 whole points. And wow, I mean, again, going to be a very competitive season, I think, between these two nations, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm particularly happy to see Bangladesh have got representation. We know the Hong Kong lads come in, but the Bangladeshis coming in is really good as far as I'm concerned. Brunei will always put in a team, and welcome to the chaps from India and Sri Lanka. But it's Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines who are the big boys for the ties. Apisak will be looking to score big for them to help them with the nation's standings. And Singapore, well, the little red dot always punch above their weight.
Oh, indeed they will. As we have a look now at how the season has progressed so far. So we already did 2 rounds prior to this. Started things off in China with the Shanghai circuit. Then we went to Road Atlanta in the Americas here the previous week. This time around, we're going to Europe, and this is going to be in Red Bull Ring, Austria. This is going to be an interesting one. Given the size of our grids here and given how short Red Bull Ring is, there's going to be a lot of like traffic in the way, isn't it?
I was thinking that, particularly in the bronze and the copper classes. I think that there could be an attempt to get some drafting that doesn't come off. I'm expecting a lot of collisions, particularly into turn 1, and then at the top left-hand corner into that turn. I'm expecting a lot of back ending from cars coming from behind.
There's a lot of straights here. There are a lot of places to overtake, and it's a very, very fast circuit overall, even in the GT4s, and especially when we get to the Le Mans prototypes. That's going to be an interesting one to watch here, because that is a double class race there. So here are the cars we're running. It's still the same as it was for not only this the previous round, but also for last season itself. The Le Mans hypercars as well as the Le Mans prototype 2s are going to be used by the gold class and silver class respectively. We got the GT3 cars being used here by the bronze class. That's a mod brought to you by the BCRC. And the Cayman GT4 is used by the copper class here, and it's part of the official Kuno's content here. So very familiar car for these drivers here, and definitely where we want these guys to get their head start here in sim racing.
Certainly do. Okay, so they are the global edition of the cars that we're going to be using. What have we got next? We've had the circuit. Right then, driver standings in the copper class. We mentioned Bima Surya, 75 points so far.
Yeah.
Brilliant season for him. Darian Zufar and Muhammad Faturaman from Indonesia. Indonesia 1, 2, and 3. It's only Xavier Ku from Singapore who's keeping the Indonesians out of a clean sweep of the top 6. Shazan Nauful and Yogi Masaji completing the top 6. And then another Singaporean. Malaysia's first representation, Ayrton Low, followed by Dodo Prasetya and Neil Harris from Malaysia in P10.
Yep, so again, lots of Indonesian representation here, especially in the copper class. And these guys have been very, very racy all season long, so I'm expecting to see them continue to come to blows, especially given that this is the penultimate round here. Only one more round remains, so you definitely want to be able to perform, especially want to whittle down that lead that Bima Surya has already built up over the last
You do have a drop round, don't you? Yeah, is it all four rounds count?
I think they do have a drop round.
Okay, so that lead can be a little bit misleading. Because others, if somebody comes in with a couple of big races in the next 2 rounds, if a Darian or Faturaman come in with big races, then that lead could well disappear for Bima Surya.
Yeah, but the one thing to consider as well is that, we only got 4 rounds in this championship, so each individual round still is very, very important. Despite the fact there is a drop round rule, you don't want to necessarily completely ruin one whole round, So I think they still will want to try to fight as hard as they can, as we are right now in qualifying now. We're about 3 minutes left until the very end of that, as we are now underway. Dodo Prasetya is currently holding that provisional pole position, is currently sitting very pretty in the pits right now, although Bima Surya, just out on track, just overtook him by 50 milliseconds to take the provisional pole position. The leader in the copper class has done it again.
Yeah, Bima in car number 4. Let's see how he looks at this circuit. He's at the back end of the circuit at the moment. Just look at the graphic top right. How congested that is going to be. We're already seeing a car. Who are we on board? We're on board with Iqbal Kurniawan. Car number, is he 8? And Seth Martin ahead of him. He's in P8. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's P8. That is. So I'm just going around here because I want to show exactly how congested it can get in some parts of these circuits here. So you can see just behind the two of them, there's like two cars practically racing each other. In fact, Kurnia One's already trying to make a pass right now on number 16, Joshua Chin right now, but Joshua's not giving him too much room.
This is stock car stuff, isn't it? This is great.
Pretty much. Like even during the briefings in the last round itself, like a fake or race steward has alluded to the fact that these qualifying like sessions often just turn out to be mini like sprint races in their own right, just simply because of the congestion, simply because of like the amount of jostling these guys are doing. And even though that this is a qualifying session, it feels like these guys are already racing each other from the start.
Fort Island, this is Art by a car 587, currently in 4th place at the moment. We've got the picture of him down in the bottom right. Nice little bit of fading out there as well. So must be a messy house that he's in if he's fading that kind of out.
Well, it's a common filter, but then again, you want the focus to be on the driver alone, isn't it? And you definitely get a good view of him. And speaking of which, provisional pole has just been overtaken here by Neil Harris. So I was observing earlier on during practice that both Neil Harris as well as Art were both actually trading off like the fastest times during practice itself. And it looks like Neil Harris finally put a good one together here, just 1.5 minutes before the end of qualifying here.
Yeah, Art, who we mentioned, has gone into the pits. We're on board here with Neil Harris. And these GT4s around this circuit, it gets a little bit weavy in the middle section of the circuit. But these long straights should help the heavy GT4s.
Yeah, I mean, the straights definitely will help a lot when it comes to battling side by side, especially when you're trying to take a draft off, because again, all these GT4 cars are equal across the board, so you really want to try to eke out whatever advantage you can get from the other cars, and slipstreaming is pretty much going to be the primary way for these drivers to be able to achieve that. And even in qualifying as well, sometimes you want to be able to get the toe off of another car, because that will definitely reduce the amount of time you spend on the straights itself.
30 seconds just over left in qualifying. At the moment, it's Neil Harris who is on pole position. Again, we had a look with him. Beamer, the championship leader in P2. He's in the pits at the moment. Dodo Prozetta is still out there, but he's on an outlap, so he won't have another a chance to get through. He may well be happy to be on P2.
Yeah, he may have to just settle for that. Although I'm looking at Art as well, I think he's still in the middle sector, so may not be able to beat the clock here. But he has posted up quite an impressive time regardless, though. Still, I mean, only Neil Harris is like just under that 136.4, but Art is only 56 milliseconds above that 136.4, so he's definitely very, very racy here. I'm very curious to see how he's going to be able to convert this momentum towards this race start here. Dodo Prozetta as well, like still out in the first sector, so I think he hasn't seen the checkered flag yet, so might still have a chance though on this lap. Although, as you mentioned, it is an out lap here, so quite unlikely he's going to be able to set a faster time.
The shock for me, looking down at P19, Darian, he's in the pits at the moment, but he's second in the championship standings. He didn't have a good qualification last time, where he did not qualify indeed at all. Managed to come through to pick up 12 points, but yet that's not a good place to be. Right back, that means you've got an awful lot of work to do.
A lot of work, and we're only seeing on the timing tower like the top 24 times. As in fact, 36 drivers, or actually, yeah, 36 drivers who are competing in this round alone. So, I mean, even though it's 19th place, he's technically somewhere in the top half-ish of the grid, but still gonna be a heck of a lot of work, knowing that how fast some of the guys in front of him are.
Indeed it is. I tell you what, once the formation lap starts, they could be overtaking each other on the formation lap with a grid that size. So Art is still out on the circuit, and he's still on his out lap, but he got himself 4th position in the end. He's just trundling around.
Yeah, just still, I guess, just keeping himself warmed up, I suppose, just before the race. Again, a lot of these drivers will tend to, use up whatever time they have, even within qualifying itself, to make sure that they have everything all set up properly on their sims or otherwise for this race here. And more or less, they already know at this point like where they would stand compared to the rest of the competition. So I would expect that Art at this point is already strategizing a little bit, about what he wants to do in this first lap, how he wants to tackle, the first few corners, and etc., just to see like if he's going to be able to make any improvements on the track.
Okay, so qualification has happened. Neil Harris wasn't overtaken So he will be on the front row of the grid. Where was Neil in the overall standings? There's so many on this list. Harris is, gosh, 10th, 11th in the standings. So that's not bad. That's a nice way to maybe pick up some points. As I say, in a short season where only three results count, you can make up an awful lot of ground with a good couple of races.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly what he's banking on here. And, you know, given that he's been very strong through practice as well, I expect that this is going to be his race here pretty much. So probably a lot of gains we can make here. Although Bima Surya being still qualified on that front row, he's still going to be a major threat here, I think, to everyone else here, including Darren Zufar, Xavier Koo, and the other Indonesians who are also in the running right now inside the top 5 here for this copper class.
Yeah, but as we mentioned, the guy down in P19, P21, he finished indeed. The guy in second place, Darian. That is not a good position to be. That's a lot of traffic to get through. Loving the liveries. I'm liking this. Lots of pretty stuff here. There's Darian Zufar. That's the guy we were just talking about. Car number 112. Looks sexy as hell, but didn't drive particularly well today.
Yeah, he's 21st place, so he's got a lot of cars to make through in between before he can finally make it up to that point. And then, of course, you got Bima Surya and Neil Harris being on the front, and Neil Harris himself. Look at that. Yeah, I love the joke liveries. And I think like ERGP has pretty much been the place where I've been seeing a lot of these drivers show off all these kind of like crazy and also really funny like liveries and stuff. And I love it. Like it really gives you that like individuality and makes it easier for us as commentators to actually spot you on the track as well. So double like the value there.
It certainly tells you you're not my generation. Okay, so X-Spark, they get their moment in the spotlight as well. What is that anime? What's that meant to represent?
Unfortunately, I don't know this anime particularly, but it's certainly going to be one of those that those at home will definitely be familiar with. So if you guys know it, just sound it up in the comments. Regardless, lights and the gantries are going on, and we're going to be off now for our first race of the day, the Copper Class, and off we go. Neil Harris already trying to block off Bima Surya. I think someone in the back there had a little bit of a slow start. It's causing a bit of a traffic jam right now. Going into the first turn, Neil Harris is able to pull his way. Oh, goes very wide, though. Bima Surya is going to attempt to try to capitalize on this, though. Gets himself onto the inside going to turn 3. So we'll see whether or not he'll be able to get ahead. He's already ahead of Neil Harris, just barely, though, before the braking turn. So this could be a fight for the lead right now with Bima Surya on the inside. Neil Harris around the outside. He can't quite block off Bima Surya. They still remain side by side, though, coming off the corner.
Yeah, Harris got off to such a slow start, but he got a good drive out to that corner. Even though he's on the wrong side of the track, he's managed to pull himself ahead. That's great acceleration there from Harris, but Bima's alongside him once again. What a scrap these two are having. Yeah. Already in the early stages, and behind them as well, you've got Art and Dodo. Dodo's got into P3, and Art's now up to P3. Oh, lots of contact.
Oh, wow. I think that's a revenge hit there from Art Nozakub onto Dodo Prestia as they were coming to blows just now, coming out into turn 5. But looks like they've gotten that under control now. Or rather, Art has got it under control, moved very clearly up ahead here into P3. Neil Harris still remains in the lead, though, as Bima Surya continues to give chase.
What's the damage on these cars? Because there was so much contact there. The damage could well come into play a little bit later on, as once again, Bima is right on the tail there. Xavier makes a little effort to get through on the inside. Car 222, the Singaporean. He's 4th in the championship standing, so we'd like to pick up some points here.
Yeah. Speaking on your questions now, I think the damage is set around 60% or maybe 50%. So it does provide some damage, but still, 40%. So it does provide some damage, but it's still more than enough for to allow a little bit of that rubbing side-by-side action there, as we saw Xavier get into a bit of sideways action coming off turn 1.
Got to control yourself around turn 1. That's a few cars we've seen have overshot into turn 1, and Xavier is under pressure there from Ezra Collin. Ezra looks on the inside. He has the line coming into this sharp right-hander, and he gets the line going up the hill, but you might have the line going up the hill, but you don't get the drive out if you're on the inside.
Yeah, in the meantime, in the front, I think Art is starting to put some moves. I saw Neil Harris going bumper to bumper at Bima Surya just now to turn 3, and it didn't seem that he was able to make that move. Now Art is all over him around the outside. He's trying to go for that switch back here, but I think Neil Harris may just have enough speed to keep himself ahead of Art into the very tricky middle section here of Red Bull Ring. Now he's going to keep Art around the outside. outside here, not really giving him too much face, though, as they go into the downhill part.
Yeah, Neil Harris, though, is losing a bit of ground there to Beamer as he's racing. So often you see that. Somebody's racing and they lose focus on the guy ahead of them, and that is a lead of 0.7 of a second and increasing for the championship leader, Beamer. Nopsonkub has got work to do. Beamer comes down the hill. How controlled is Art as he goes on the inside of Harris?
Yeah, he's really trying to set it up for that final corner here, but Neil Harris is just hugging that racing line very, very tightly, so it's not really giving much of a gap here for Art to exploit. In the meantime, I think Xavier as well as Umar are getting into a bit of a blow towards the back end here. Let's see. Whoa, I think Tristan Ardian Shah is going to try to get onto the inside of Aitan Lau. This is a battle for 10th place right now as they remain side by side here. I think Tristan might have gotten it in the braking zone, though. Stays ahead of Aitan Lau, but Aitan's still able to hook onto the inside, though, so I don't think this battle is quite over yet.
And behind them, you've got Xavier Koo, who's dropped down from P5 earlier on. As you said, he came to blows. Oh, that's a dangerous move in such a congested area. Xavier tries to go around the outside and Art spins off.
Yeah, Art spins off there while we were having a look on Aitan Lau as well as Tristan. It looks like Aitan is able to stay ahead of Tristan coming out of turn 4, so that looks pretty good for him. Now coming through turn 5 into turn 6, I think Neil Harris is going to try to make a move here to get himself back up into the P2 ahead of Dodo Prestea. I think Neil Harris and Art were the ones who got into contact just now, coming onto turn 4 just then. So that has dropped Art all the way down to P6 here, just behind Seth Martin.
Okay, so there is Art. He's trying to get closer to Seth Martin. It's very spaced out, but there's been lots of contact already. And I keep forgetting these are copper drivers. We shouldn't expect them to be as disciplined. But even so, it's terrifically exciting as they go off the racing line time and time and time again.
Well, again, you know, you're still racing under the rule sets here provided by eRGP, so the penalty points can still become a factor in this. So you definitely still want to stay on your best behavior if you can.
Art on the back of Seth there. He's trying to get round, but a car 587. Easy to pick out in the orange livery. Ahead of him, Beam has got himself a 2-second lead. He's just accelerated away from everybody.
Yeah, it's very, very clear now. It looks like Art is going to have a look on the inside here, gets himself side by side, takes the apex first, but Seth Martin carries a lot of speed on the outside line coming out of turn 1, so that keeps him in 5th place for now. Art is probably going to have to try again, but he does have another opportunity coming up ahead.
Shazan just behind them, looking for any potential error, as is Iqbal. Who's 0.2 of a second down. Once again, another look on the inside by Art, and this time, again, you take the inside line, you lose any drive out going up the hill. It's not necessarily best to have the inside line.
Yeah, unless you're coming in with a lot more like speed and energy. It looks like Art is going to have to keep trying over and over again to get past Art. And just behind him, I think Iqbal is having another look on the inside here. Shazan now having to keep himself on the wide line. Yet again, keeps himself very nicely ahead of Iqbal throughout all of that.
It is. It's like they're on tracks. It's like the weight of the GT4s is just a slingshotting them around. There's contact there. Iqbal. Oh, nicely controlled.
Nice save there from Ajisaka as he keeps his GT4 under control here, trying to stay out of the way of Iqbal, who's looking a little bit loose at the moment here. Still locked in that battle right now, though I think Ajisaka actually gets himself a little bit ahead of Iqbal now, although you got Aitan Lau also joining in here, trying to pick up some scraps out of this battle, but Iqbal poses a bit of a problem on the inside there. More blows coming through here. It's Ajisaka is forced to take onto the outside of the track. Iqbal Kunya 1 continues to try to stay ahead of this gaggle of cars here, but now he's not got one but two challengers now vying for his position.
Aji in the red. He spent more time on the red warning lines than he has on the black stuff in the last lap. But there is Ayrton Lowe also in that group. Nice little battle going on. Right behind them, you've got Xavier Koo, who's in that mix as well. Kunyawan, Iqbal nearly lost, and he's lost a lot of speed there. And this gives a chance for Aji. And Aji...
I think that's a little bit of netcode there. Aji is still alongside of Iqbal as they come into the next turn. Looks like he will be able to keep that position, though. Iqbal will. Just ahead of Ajisaka. Whew, this is an impressive battle going on between these two drivers here.
7.5 minutes still to go. We've had plenty of action. We're ignoring the race leader, Beamer, because he's 2 seconds clear of everybody else. Neil Harris has got himself ahead of Ezra. Dodo's had another coming together, but Ajisaka is providing a lot of fun for us alongside Tristan Ardiansa, and also going through there, that was Xavier Koo. from Singapore.
Yeah, I think a bit of concertina came into effect there. It's like the battling going on between 8 and 9. It's actually brought these cars closer and closer together. And I think one that had to brake a little harder than they wanted to, and that's allowed the door to open up for Xavier Ku, who, mind you, is still on the recovery drive himself, having dropped down to 12 or 13th place early on. Now has moved up a couple of places. Has taken Tristan now for 11th place.
Yeah, but he's got a bit of a gap before he gets to Ayrton ahead of him, and he's under pressure, as you've just said, from Tristan. Tristan's got a bit of draft, and Xavier is trying to shake him off, but the Nexus is looking very nice. I like that livery.
Yeah, keeping it, tried to keep it tight during the final corner, though Xavier has managed to pick up a lot of speed coming out of the final turn here, so that's going to give him a bit of breathing space now between himself and Tristan, but it's still only about half a second, so any mistake coming out from Xavier's part, and Tristan will be back all over him again. In the meantime, just in front of them, Aji Saka continues to chase behind Iqbal, hasn't been able to make any gains in that last lap here, still remains frustratingly stuck behind Iqbal's car.
Surprisingly few overtaking maneuvers in the last couple of laps. There's been plenty of competition. There's been plenty of cars touching, but very few actual overtaking maneuvers. Aji Saka has got Ayrton low right on his slipstream. As they go through, that was Art in P6, Shazan in P7, Iqbal 8 and Aji in 9. And Ayrton right on the tail of Aji. Where's close?
It's getting very close this time around. Let's just see if we can see from his onboard how exactly he's going to try to take on the inside. He's already caught out Aji right around this part here. A very tricky part of Red Bull Circuit, and looks like he's getting himself nicely tucked in front. Although Aji Saka attempts to make an inside move here, Ayrton Lau does leave a little bit of space, but not fast enough. It's Aji Saka in order to be able to take advantage of that.
That was Ayrton going past him just then, wasn't it, on the inside?
Yep.
So Iqbal in front of them. Ayrton now then, he's got a bit of slipstream, but he brakes a little bit early. Ayrton leaves his braking late. Chance through the inside. No, the braking is there. Still disciplined. Chance on the inside for the second time. Aji Saka alongside. That's well done. He was more disciplined than Ayrton Lowe.
Yeah, really bringing the elbows out that time around, but now Aji Saka keeps himself, rather gets his position back here from Ayrton Lau just in time here to get into turn 1, so lives to fight on for P9 another day.
Xavier Ku is still in pursuit of them, and behind Xavier you've got Tristan, who's dropped off just a little bit, and then Wei Shan. Satria Pandu is down in P70. Now, this is Darian Zufar. This is important. The black livery of Darian Zufar. He was in second place in the standings. He had a lousy qualification, and he's managed to get himself up to P14. What did he start? He started P21.
Yep.
So he's made up 7 laps, but he's only got 4 minutes and 15 seconds to go.
Yeah, 4 minutes to make up another 4 places, so you can at least enjoy like the reverse grid start, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen here for Darian anytime soon, because he's still struggling to get past Satria, who is taking the outside line very well here to keep his average speed high enough to keep himself ahead of Darian. Coming to the next turn, I think Satria will be able to take this pretty handily, though, when Darian still has to remain in P15.
P15, it's still an improvement, and as you say, the reverse grid might come into people's reckoning in a short time, but I'm pretty sure Darian, all he wants to do is get ahead of Satria and pick up a useful extra point.
Just whatever damage you can damage limitations. Yeah, wow, just really tongue twisted myself there. But yeah, speaking of which, though,
Harris closing in.
Exactly, I was seeing that on my monitors right now that he's already within half a second now. Bhima Surya, so this is looking like he's attempting to make another move here for the lead of the race right at the very end here. So I think this battle finally has been taken off of the cooler and has been put onto the heater instead.
So Harris is closed within 0.6 of a second. He's got a decent drive up. I'm wondering whether Bhima was just holding something in reserve, not pushing too much, because he's just been able to accelerate away once again. Art hasn't been able to recover from that mishap he had very early on. He was in P3, challenging for P3 and spun off. He's now in P6, and it's turned into a bit of procession, which I didn't expect, I must confess, with these GT4s. I expected it to be an awful lot closer with such a... Oh, going through the inside!
Yeah,
Ayrton again!
Yep, one more time against himself ahead. Ajisaka and Xavier Ku picks up some scraps here, finally takes advantage of a wounded Ajisaka in order to move himself up into 10th place. This could be crucial for him because reverse grid, if it doesn't get applied to the first 10, that means that he will be starting on the front row. So he wants to be able to defend this position as hard as he can.
2 minutes and 15 seconds and less. That was really good. He just poached the place there, did Xavier Ku. He waited for what was going on. Art again, still on the back of Seth Martin.
Yep, still cannot quite find its way past yet. Back onto Ajisaka. He's going to be desperate now to try to get that position back. Otherwise, he'll be starting yet again in 11th place when it comes to race 2. 1 minute and 45 seconds still remains in this race. Art is also still on the chase here for a possible 5th position. 10th place, still very much a tight fight here. Is Wei-Shin Wong, who's just behind the two of them. He's also Tristan. Sorry, he's the one actually catching up to these two battlers right now. Xavier Ku still holds the position that Ajisaka was in for the longest of times.
You're quite right to stick with this race. You're dictating where the director's going.
Yeah.
And there is a move by Aji on the inside. Sometimes it works. What's his drive out like? His drive is decent. His acceleration is good. That's beautifully done by Ajisaka to retake P10. As you say, reverse grid. It's crucial, that P10.
Yep, so, well, we'll see whether or not Art will be able to do the same. But again, he's been frustratingly stuck behind Seth Meyers ever since he lost out the battle between himself and Neil Harris. So very doubtful. But then again, you know, there's still less than a minute left in this race here. So could still be another chance for him on the board. Well, in the meantime, looks like Bima Surya has finally got it together because he's already built that lead between himself and Neil Harris back up to 1 whole second here with 30 minutes, with 30 seconds to spare. I think he pretty much will have this one in the bag.
Not Subcarb is still trying to pick up that place. He's been battling hard against Seth Martin. Seth will be devastated if he gives this up in the last 15 seconds or so. But there, Art has a little look on the inside. Seth Martin closes that door. Oh, he's gone wide after working so hard, Xavier Ku. He lost the place back, but Xavier is there now under real pressure. Will they go over the start-finish line? They are. Well, we've got one more lap to go.
Yeah, one more lap to go, and looks like Xavier and Ajisaka, oh, and even Tristan is getting himself alongside as well. Xavier tries to force Ajisaka wider here, but the three of them will come together going to turn 1. Ajisaka comes in from the outside here, gives a little love tap there to Xavier Ku, causing him to fall back. Tristan now is actually going to be the one racing Ajisaka for this next turn, and Tristan is ahead coming up into turn 4.
3 in the bed, and little one said, get out the way, I'm taking the place. Now Aji looks on the inside. That's 2 places lost there from Xavier Ku. Excellent stuff. Yeah. Really good entertainment. And you've caught it right, Art has got through ahead of Seth Martin.
Yep. He has gotten through, and Seth is now on the return fire here. And this is already the last lap, so the corners are going to be starting to come through. Seth getting a lot of speed actually coming out of the apex there. Still couldn't quite find enough on this turn though, but the switchback might even favor him though, as he still remains alongside Art. Oh boy, coming in this downhill section, it's not easy at all to keep control of your car, but Seth Martin somehow keeps it together even with the elbows out.
I think he was braced for that, and there, look at this, Christian under pressure, same position on the inside. He has the line coming through, and also let's not forget that Xavier Ku is still in that battle. But coming through, Bima Surya takes the victory. He's ahead of Neil Harris. Ezra in 3, Dodo in 4. The battle for 5 will go to Seth Martin ahead of Art, and behind them some great battles. Martin just holds him off.
Just barely. It's Shazan and Iqbal come through as well. Aitan Lau comes around. Xavier Ku takes his 10th position. And Aji, he keeps it together actually with Tristan. What happened between the two of them?
Xavier Ku has got those 2 places up, and he will be on the front row of the grid in the reverse grid race. Well, we thought it'd blown it, Xavier Ku, but in the end, that's an excellent result, but also a terrific result for Bima.
Wow. Dang, with so much action happening on track at the same time, it was really hard to keep track of which battles to keep an eye on there, but I'm glad to actually be able to catch some of that overtaking between Ajisaka, Xavier Ku, between Art, Seth Meyers, Neil Harris, as well as Bima Surya. Everyone got a little bit of action here inside the top 15, haven't they?
So Seth Martin got ahead of Art once again. Gosh, we followed that one right the way through. Art was chasing, got through. Seth Martin got that place back. Neil Harris had the lead at one stage. Has to be happy with P2. I think he will be happy with P2.
Oh, yeah.
Because Bima's such an impressive man to start. But Bima will increase his lead at the top of the standings. Remember, there is one round that you lose. I liked your word, dang. That really summed it up.
Yeah, indeed. And I think some of these drivers are probably thinking like, dang, I've just missed out on like a 6th position by just that much. I mean, Seth and Art, literally were gunning into the line, and I think the control line for that was a lot further up than normal, so they literally had to keep their foot pinned to that throttle all the way through the middle of that whole main straight. So, wow, I mean, still good on Seth Martin, though, being able to catch that position back just literally at the last possible moment here and keeps himself up in P5.
Excellent work by Martin, but Shazan Naufal, we didn't give him an awful lot of love. He got a very healthy P7, so he'll be in the points as well.
Aiton Lau as well. I mean, he finishes ahead of Xavier Ku, and then Xavier getting himself into P10, though I can't quite catch him on camera right now. Ajisaka.
11th. Gosh.
11. Yeah, just missed out on that right now. So, well, he's gonna have a lot of work to do here, but at least Xavier will be the least of his worries during this race start here. So, given where the reverse grid will be applied.
So we're on the reverse grid. Car 220, who looked like he'd blown it 2 laps out, got it back with 1 lap to go, blown it again on the last lap, came through probably on the last couple of corners that we didn't see, because quite rightly you were focusing on the battle for P6 at that stage.
Yeah.
Darian Zafar, 12th. A good recovery from a start of P21, so he made up 9 laps, but this is going to damage his championship hopes.
Yeah, certainly will. I mean, it's still at least some damage limitation, somewhat, at least with the points that he's able to gain out of here. He's just probably going to be praying that Bima gets a really nasty last round here to at least help his chances in the overall standings. But as it stands right now, Bima is going to be flying home with a lot of points on hand here, even out of this 3rd round itself. So presumptively the leader in this copper class.
Well, anime from Wei Shen Wong. We didn't see him an awful lot. Does that mean he's going to be 3rd? No, he's not. This is just where they are in the pit lane.
Yeah.
This isn't their starting position.
Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, there we go. So Xavier Ku starts on the front row here, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be joined alongside with Aiton Lau, Iqbal Kurnia 1 in the 2nd row alongside with Shazan. Then we got Art in 5th place. Seth Meyers will still be starting alongside. So, well, that's going to be a rematch between the two of them for sure in race number 2. Dodo Prasetya in 7th place. Erza Collins in 8th. Neil Harris and Bima Surya on the same row here. Rounds it up 9th and 10th.
Right then, Xavier Ku is the winner on that one. He will be on pole position here. I am feeling for Aji Satria. Okay, we're waiting for the red lights.
Yeah, well, I can see how many cars there are before you can get to the gantry itself, isn't it? As we get the countdown now, it's going to be race number 2 here for our copper class here. Xavier Ku and Aiton Lau in the front. Xavier's going to be looking to try to take full advantage of the start here. Was Bima Surya. He's going to be looking to try to make his way up the field as here we go.
Oh,
Xavier very slow.
start.
Very, very slow off the line there. He gets cut off immediately. Aiton Lau takes the lead of this race. Shazan is going to try to catch around the inside. Looks like Xavier will be able to get himself through here, but he unfortunately will be settling for 3rd place right now. Seth Meyers still in the fight here. Seth Martin. Sorry, he's still in the fight right now for 5th place with Iqbal Kurnia 1 just alongside him. So we zoom around now into the 4th corner here. Let's see whether or not Aiton Lau will be able to hold his position, but it looks like Shazan is going to try to catch him on the inside. Xavier Ku goes way wide though, drops down to 4th position as he rejoins ahead of Seth Martin. Shazan though not able to keep himself alongside with Aiton Lau. Aiton now sails ahead by half a second.
That was an interesting tour of the circuit by the man who was on pole position, Xavier Ku. He's in 4th at the moment. A little tap on the back of Shazan.
Yeah, I think it was Xavier Ku attempting to try to regain a position on the podium, just getting into the back of Shazan that time, but Shazan still managed to save it just in the nick of time. Bima Surya, in the meantime, has already made its way up into 5th place,
Terrific.
already overtaken Art for that position, though. So now he's going to be facing off against Xavier Ku here in this middle section.
Yeah, so Xavier Ku is in P4. Bima's just behind him in the same livery in front of him is Shazam, who's been relatively sedate in his movement, but once again we're seeing Art and Seth Martin will be coming in contact with each other, as will Aji Saka. Gosh, he's had a lot of bumps and bruises in the 2 races so far, and here he is in P9.
Yeah, I mean, the 3 drivers who've been giving us a lot of action in race 1 are now locked together in almost the same position as Xavier Ku now tries to go around the outside here to defense position, but Bima Surya, I think he will be able to get this position here, moves up into 4th place ahead of Xavier Ku's his blue car, and keeps his track position there. So, well, that's battle done now, but look at the big procession of cars just behind there. So you got Dodo Prasateya still keeping himself ahead of Art. Art right now is trying to maneuver around to find position. Aji Saka is getting himself alongside Seth Martin right now. Oh boy, contact. I think Dodo actually spun out and actually cause a bit of contact between these cars here. Seth Martin is able to get himself out of that chaos here ahead, or rather alongside Art, whereas Aji Saka, he's going to be falling back a little bit here. Dodo Prasateya, he's able to recover, but now he's under attack here from Wei Shen Wong, and Tristan runs into the back of Wei Shen as he attempts to break into the downhill part of Red Bull Ring.
Surya also in that mix. There's a lot of contact there. This is what I was expecting from these Copper guys, as once again, Art tries to come around the outside. He's got his old mate Seth Martin right there. Aji goes on the inside. That's nicely taken by Aji. Not 1 but 2 places taken. Is there a drive out? Can he hold his track position? The answer is yes. And also Art goes with him as well.
Yeah, Tristan, I think he just spun out into the barriers. He's dropped all the way down and almost out of our timing tower. As more contact still around here as Wei Shen Wong gets himself into a little bit of a locked battle here with Lu Chu-han as well as Dodo Prasateya. He's going to have to be behind the 2 of them as Lu actually gets into contact here with Dodo, who actually turned into him. Managed to keep the car together coming out the final turn, but Wei Shen Wong, watch out, he's coming around from the inside wall here and attempting to try to steal alongside.
This is 5 abreast.
Wow, incredible as we get into the first turn. Who's going to be the first one in contact here? Another thing, that's Lu, who's spun out completely. Lu has spun completely around the corner and he's left out on the lurch. Wei Shen Wong still in the fight here alongside with Dodo, while in the meantime, wow.
Well, that was tough on Lu. No, there was no space. You can't go 5 abreast into turn 1. And the end result is that Ayrton has a lead of a second from Iqbal. Shazam 3rd. Bima is making his way as well. I'm also liking the work that we're seeing. Not so much Wation, but Darian has got himself up into P11. He did well. He made up 9 places in race number 1. Here he's got himself up... well, 4 places already has Darian. Neil Harris, he's making his way up from... he was a lowly P18. He's got himself up to 13, maybe into P12 at the moment. Yeah. That's Oscar, who he goes past.
Yeah, he's going to have a way harder job here compared to Bima Surya right now, given that he missed out massively in that first part of the race here. He's already getting himself past. Yep, he's already passed Surya Pratumbong just as we cut away there. But Neil Harris is attempting to try to recover his race here. In the meantime, side-by-side action here as Bima Surya now makes his move against Shazan. Shazan still is on the inside. Bima had to take onto the outside road here in order to stay in this battle here. Still stays alongside with Shazan as they come down towards the first turn.
Bima takes a little bit of a drag there. He might have a look as they come into the first turn. Again, you don't want to necessarily be on the inside because the better drive is coming out on the outside. And Bima Surya shows exactly that. Has he been able to force it? No, he hasn't. He'll maybe have another pop as they come down this long straight with a little kink in it. He'll go around the outside. They've seen that you can get the whip if you take this corner at the right way.
Yeah.
He's gone up the inside this time.
Gone up the inside. He's going to try to get the inside of the next turn as well. So Shazan is going to have to keep an eye out of that. Meantime, still a lot of battling going on between Aji, Seth Martin, as well as Art, as the 3 of them are still locked in blows here in the second race itself. Bima Surya now having the inside yet again here. Is he going to be able to keep this this position? I think Shazan has done more than enough to try to hang around the outside. Still remains alongside though, but Bima is going to be that little bit ahead. Now tries to keep it under braking though. Will Shazan try to take advantage? Doesn't look like he will be able to do so under braking. Bima Surya, I think, has pretty much kept this third place ahead of Shazan.
Very well done by Bima Surya. He had to hold on a long time, and in the meantime, look who's there. Xavier Q once again. Up from, well, he actually started on pole position, didn't he? So it's not particularly impressive, but he had that dreadfully slow start. But now he's competing for a top 5 place. A little bit further down, Wei Shen Wong in P11. The man in P10, Darian. He's got there into P10. Wei Shen has lost a place to Oscar and also Neil Harris.
Yeah, Neil, again, these guys are battling just outside of the points, though. It's only 10th place on. Will get points in the second race itself. Seth Martin and Art were coming to blows just now, and I think Seth Martin is going to try to set out for another attempt to pass here into turn 1. Doesn't quite make it, though, as Art barely hung on to the racing line that time around and stays on the slipstream of Aji Saka through all of that. In the meantime, the big gaggle of cars have been that we watched just now. Oscar Montiel and Vincent Chai still continues to stay and keep himself ahead of Neil Harris, and using the slipstream being provided here with Darren Zufar. He's still looking like he's going to try to make a move here, or nope, cancels it at the last moment here. But wow, there's still a 3-way battle going on here for what is going to be the last point-paying position in this race.
Oscar in the dark grey livery, but he's under pressure from Neil Harris. We're on board with Xavier Ku now. He looks on the inside as he tries to take the place from Shazan. Shazan will hold this line, but the switchback we often see on this corner, if he can get his braking right, but he can't. That's well defended by Shazam, who's lost that P3. He doesn't want to lose P4. Back up with Art, and once again in a battle royale, car 587 in the orange and white.
Yep, still keeping it together as now Oscar is coming through, still ahead of Neil Harris right now. Darren Zufar is already building a bit of a gap here, 0.7 seconds to Oscar right now, so he's pretty secure in that 10th place. Neil Harris still looking to try to recover back all of the positions that he's lost since the very start of this race here, but still frustratingly still stuck in behind Oscar through the final 2 corners here. He's going to have to use the slipstream on the main straight now if he wants to have any hope of getting up to P11.
6.5 minutes still to race. Xavier Ku still putting the pressure on the back of Shazon. Ahead of them, Aji around the outside of Art. This is a good little battle. These two have been in a lot of pressure. Now then, Xavier Ku. He's got a little bit of slipstream to work with. Looks on the inside. Can he use Beamer ahead of him? No, he can't. Again, well defended by Shazan, but they come up the hill. The drive up the hill is better now for Art over Aji. I really haven't sussed out myself which is best, the inside line or the outside line, the shorter version or the longer drive.
I think for some drivers, they are able to find a grip around the outside, and so, but some drivers are just really like hanging on to the inside there. Sometimes they do make it there just like that. Art being forced to take onto the grass, lost him a bit of speed now to Aji, and he loses out in that battle as Aji pulls way ahead. Xavier still stuck in his sandwich here between.
But he's got ahead. He's into P4.
Yep, he's already ahead of Shazan here, but still in a very awkward position. He's going to have to at least the benefit of getting the toe off of Bima's car in order to keep himself ahead of Shazan.
There's car 220. He's given us an awful lot of enjoyment today in this Copper class. eRGP Season 18, round 3 of 4. We're at the Red Bull Ring. And Seth Martin's given us a lot of entertainment as well, but he's a little bit too far away from Art Non Sodkub to really make an impression. Oscar loses the place to Neil Harris. Good work from Harris.
Neil does go a little bit wide, though, so Oscar will be able to catch him back off of the final turn here, so that's going to allow him to continue to fight. It's Art in the meantime putting again another move here onto Aji Saka. These two guys, well, you can sense his frustration as he's flashing the lights there to try to warn Aji Saka to get out of my way. Meantime, side by side here, Xavier Ku going against Bima Surya yet again. It looks like he might have caught it this time, taking the inside. Bima Surya left out on the lurch here as Xavier Ku gets himself back up to P3.
That was really good from Xavier Ku. He left his braking nice and late and was able to drive up the hill. It is surprising the elevation that you get on this circuit. Shazan is also trying to get through on the inside of Bima. Identical liveries. It's Bima just holding the way, but Shazan has the inside line. as they come into this left-hander. Beamer will still be able to hold on while they battle, though. That's good news for Xavier Ku. It's been a good day for the Singaporean.
Yeah, I think it was a crash just now between Art as well as Dodo Prasetya. Actually, Art was battling with Aji and Seth Martin earlier on, but looks like he's lost up massively in this battle as Aji has already moved up 2 cars ahead here. Art now trying to recover. He's going to try to get around the outside of Dodo Prasetya and will be able to keep his track position for now, but he's now going to have to fight back against Seth Martin before he can finally bring the fight to Aji.
He's given us an awful lot of highlights work, highlights material. Without picking up significant number of points in the championship standings, he's a little bit off the pace. But you never know, a couple of decent rounds. What did he pick up? He picked up a P6 in race 1. If he picks up a P6 or 7 here, that won't be too bad. Bhima Surya has already had 1 race win. That is P8 at the moment. As you say, only the top 10 score points. 3 minutes to go. Yeah. Right, where's the battles going on? It's not at the front because Ayrton, who we've not given any love to, is leading by 2.5 seconds from Iqbal. This has been an impressive performance by Ayrton Lowe.
Yeah, it seems like as soon as he got that lead, he's just been able to keep it for a long time. And again, I think it's also like because of Xavier's late start, like literally the lights went out and he was almost stationary on track there as Aiton was able to pass him as well as Iqbal. So since that point on, Xavier has just been having to work so hard, to get himself back. But at least he has a podium position on the cards right now, being 0.7 seconds ahead of Bhima, as I think Art is now trying to make a move here onto Seth Martin, get himself onto the inside, and looking like he's going to be able to keep it. Oh, look at that. Just swerves his car ahead of Seth Martin for good measure.
That's sensible. It means that Martin has to pile on the brakes or can risk going into the back of him. But there is Seth Martin. Very disciplined, these Copper boys, got to say. In years gone by, in seasons gone by, it wasn't quite as disciplined at the, in inverted commas, lower classes.
Well, I think they've definitely been taking the words from our race steward to heart here, and knowing that this Copper class itself tends to be chaotic at times. I think some of these guys, having experienced those previous seasons, know what to expect when they come into this one here. I think Seth Martin's looking like he tries to make another move, but cancels it at the last moment there, allowing Art to still remain 0.2 seconds ahead. Still will have to draft, though, coming onto this section of the track. Slight bend here, which is turn 3, but then that's going to come up to turn 4 real soon. And we'll see whether or not he'll be able to keep that position here, although I think I see Dodo attempting to make a move onto Seth Martin this time around. He's going to try to fight him for that position. Keeps himself still alongside, though, in the exit of the turn. Seth Martin still slightly ahead, but can he keep it under braking, though?
And again, that age-old question, which is quicker? Up the inside where you have to work up the hill, or you get the drive through? And it looks like Martin was just able to get the drive through. A little bit of a tweak there from Art. Sorry, from Seth.
Yeah, and that was Dodo.
Dodo, sorry, it was.
Dodo running into the back of him, though, but still managed to keep it together just in time, though. So that will allow Seth Martin to pull further and further ahead. As in the meantime, I think Aiton will be able to beat the clock here. So that's going to be kicking off one more lap of racing here. So with only 2 battles going on here inside of the top 10, one between Bhima Surya as well as Shahzan Naufal Mizal, then another between Seth Martin and Dodo Prasetya.
The one I'd like to see is Darian in P10 because he'd like to score some points. He was low down in race number 1. So he's going to score a P10, but that's just a single point, isn't it, in race 2, in the reverse grid? And he's not close enough, I think, to get any more than that. So he's going to lose ground on Bhima.
Yep. As Aiton Lau now kicks off what is going to be our final lap here, ladies and gentlemen, as he comes around. Still in the middle of Sector 1 right now. Xavier Ku is now comfortably ahead of Bhima Surya, so no worries about that battle going on there. But for Art, I think he's getting really, really close to Ajisaka yet again. Just like with race number 1, these two drivers will continue to come to blows. The Thai driver just behind the Indonesian driver loses a bit of control, gets his rear wheels onto the sausage curb there, but still remains half a second locked in to Ajisaka.
Yeah, there's been plenty of mid-table activity as once again Dodo goes on the outside of... Does he get round Seth?
Well, he's trying to. I think Seth got a little bit squirrely on the exit. That's going to help Dodo a little bit, but they still remain alongside now coming into the inner section of Red Bull Ring. He's going to get ahead under braking, though. Dodo Prasetya practically drifting his way downhill now to stay ahead of Seth Martin. He keeps a position, though, so up into P8 here for the Indonesian driver.
Well done by Dodo Prasetya. That'll be, again, just 3 points, but you never know. 3 points at the end of the season could be so important. Dodo, once again, sorry, Art, we're on board with him as the winner for the first time this season. Ayrton Lowe will take the checkered flag first. That is fabulous work from Ayrton Lowe. And well done, Iqbal Kurniawan, as well. And Xavier Koo, that's a really good day's racing for Xavier Koo.
Yep, Shazan will be able to take 5th place. Aji Saka takes 6th place ahead of Art, ahead of Dodo Prasetya, who actually got himself ahead of Seth Martin, does in that final lap alone, so that's a handy couple of points for him here. Seth Martin gets it at 9th, and Daniel Zufar at least gets 1 point out of this race number 2 here, so at least keeps some points on the board here. It's looking like, well, Neil Harris is going to celebrate a little bit, even though he just missed out on that single point here by virtue of finishing in 11th place.
Well, showing us how many points he had with the spinning wheels. 0.
0. Well,
but Ayrton Lowe, well done for him. First win of the season. He had a P4 in race 1 of round 2. Now he's got a race win. You never know. Another performance like this, he could sweep up those championship standings. He was 8th going into round 3. He could go into round 4 a little bit closer to Beamer, although Beamer, terrific weekend for him. But Beamer may well just drop round 4 and still be the champion.
Yep, so I mean, Beamer is certainly going to be flying away with this championship right now. So only one more round still remains between here and now. So that, I mean, with the drop rounds rule, even with that drop round rule, I think Beamer is still very comfortably in the lead here. So yeah, so it still remains. So that's the copper class already done here. Lots of action going on this one, isn't it?
There was a lot. Not as much as I expected, to be honest. I expect this to be a concertina, a show of concertina and taps around the back. But no, very disciplined, guys. Very disciplined. I thoroughly disapprove.
No action equals like a very unhappy Des, unfortunately. But never mind. We still got a couple more races to go here, so maybe we could get a little bit of that action. And of course, going to be in faster cars as well, so a lot more overtaking opportunities up ahead here. We're going to be taking a short break, but we'll be right back with more action here with our bronze class, silver class, and gold class races coming up next.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. computer evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
Hello, welcome back to our coverage of eRacing GP Season 18. We've just had a lot of fun and games in the bronze medal class where Bima from Indonesia took a firm grip on the championship with one round to go. We move now, that was in the copper class, we move now onto the bronze class, which is a little bit closer. Yasha Kaume from Malaysia leads by 12 points from Fahim Hatta and Dave Chen, completing a top 3. Very, very close there, but again, you've got a drop round and lots of points available in the 2 races today. So even down to Naufal with 21 points, in with a genuine chance of the championship, Victor.
Yeah, again, I think it's, like you said, a lot closer in the bronze class itself, and particularly tight battles. I mean, we see Naufal and Jeremy Yao both tied for points right now. Eric Sacher and Ethan Rubio as well tied for points. So I think this third round here could help separate some of them from the pack, but then again, like given the times I've seen from practice, we could be seeing a bit of upsets here and there, but well, we'll get to it soon enough. But Yash Qayyum still has a handy lead nevertheless, 12 points so far, so hopefully he gets a good round out of this one here.
Hopefully neutrally, of course. You mean that completely neutrally. Of course, we don't want that Yash to win. You're quite right to mention, though, the fact that we are at the Red Bull Ring, which is a tough old track. You can easily lose your places there. And there's a big grid, once again. 30 plus drivers.
30 plus drivers. I mean,
was it 19 out there at the moment?
There's 19 on the timing tower here, but that's not the full grid, as it were. In fact, I think there's actually 34 inside the bronze class here who have logged in for this practice session here, as we are going to be jumping into our qualifying real soon.
That's a lot of congestion with these faster cars. I was expecting the GT4s to have a concertina effect. It didn't really happen. Maybe as we go up a little bit of a pace here, well, we're taking off 2-3 seconds a lap here. Not quite that much. But as you go up the pace of the cars, maybe the concertina and the contact around the corners will come more into play.
Yeah, so we'll have to see later on when we get into the actual race itself. I mean, we're going to have 10 minutes of qualifying here for all of our drivers involved. You can see the huge mix of different cars here representing the current generation GT3 grid. So you got like your Corvettes, as we saw with Reds1 Shaw. We also got Ford Mustangs here, etc. I think these cars are going to be some to watch out for, because they certainly have a bit of advantage when it comes to the exit of corners, and that certainly allows them to gain a lot of speed along the straights here. So jumping into qualifying now, let's see how they're going to stack up after this, because actually during this practice session itself, Ryan Lim was the one who had the fastest lap. So, like I said, there could be potential for some upsets here. I mean, Ryan, I don't think he's even...
He's not even in, no. I think it's his first appearance of the season.
First appearance of the season is already showing that showing a lot of speed out here in the Red Bull Ring.
Cracking colour on the car as well. We do like this one on the outlap as well. I was interested, you mentioned that the Mustang might have a little bit of grunt around here. I was thinking the short and nip, the lighter cars might have the advantage, certainly because it gets very technical. And coming up those little inclines into turns 1 and 3, you can, if you're nippy, you can get a lot of ground and maybe take a big couple of overtaking opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point as well, because of the very fast and flowy nature of the circuit, particularly the second sector itself, where it's ever so slightly downhill. I mean, you can even see it from the TV cameras how much the incline is, you know, coming down this particular corner itself. So I think that is the tricky thing for a lot of these drivers, how to keep the balance of the car, even when the attitude changes by so much, isn't it?
There is your championship leader, Yash Kayam, for Handshake Sim Racing Mai. He had a P7 and a P5 in race number in the round 1 in Shanghai, and a win and a P10 in Atlanta last time out. He's got himself 55 points, but he also qualified fastest on both occasions.
Yeah, so this time around, I mean, again, I'm just basically going off of what I saw during practice now. He was 4th fastest during our practice session just before this qualifying, so may have a bit of work here, but then again, this is a 10-minute long qualifying session. He will certainly have a lot of time here, not just to get himself to grips with this circuit, but also the grip itself will improve over time as more and more of these cars run over the track, and there's certainly a lot of cars in this track, isn't it?
There are. Lim Zen Lon on shot. Fahim Hatta, who's in second in the standings, has got the fastest time so far, but I think we can ignore that with 7.5 minutes still to go.
Yeah, this is just the outlap times. I think these cars normally lap under 130.
Yeah.
I think it was like 128 or 127s would be what I expect all of the top drivers in this class itself. But Fahim Hatta is indeed like one of the first cars out of the pits early on, so he's going to be leading these pack of cars. Yash Kayum is not too far behind him as well, so could be potential to see him start to set some good times here. So we'll have to see as soon as they come across the line, as Yash Kayum is still inside of Sector 2 right now. Fahim Hatta is just now coming into the final 2 corners. Let's see what time.
Yeah, why don't you stick with Fahim for a lap and let's see how he's performing, and also give us a flying lap.
Yeah, we'll see. Fahim Hatta now coming onto that main straight. Let's go ahead and have a look at what it looks like from his perspective. This is where you get into turn 1. It's ever so slightly uphill. One thing I have to watch out for is the exit of this turn, because a huge sausage curb around the outside delineates the limit that you can take for this track itself. Fahim Hatta takes it pretty nice and handily here as he comes into turn 2 as well as 3. This is a slight bend here. It still counts as a corner, even though you're practically going flat out. Here you come into turn 4, a very tight turn, and also a major point for battling when you're going to be fighting for positions. Fahim Hatta is taking a much more deeper line through here. Even though Juliano Gonzalez is far ahead of him, I don't think he'll be disrupting this lap too much. Then this is where you're going to be entering the technical section of the track. A very hard braking point that goes downhill as well. Some drivers would definitely use a bit of brake bias here in order to keep the balance of the car. Then it still dips up slightly coming into this part here, which is again going downhill once more, and that's going to be through the corner itself. A very tricky corner to get right, but if you do, it's very, very satisfying indeed. As a feeling of nailing the line in this corner is akin to flying through the eye of a needle practically, because there's really very little margin for error. Now coming into the final 2 corners here, this is where the pit entry actually is. So some drivers take the inside here in order to get into the pits, but Fahim Hatta, being he's on the flying lap here, he's going to take as wide as possible, gets over into this final turn and onto the main straight itself. Now, last time around he was a 129.025, comes across the line, doesn't quite improve this
129.
time. Still stuck in that 129s, and in fact, I think it's Yash Kayum right now who has taken pole position provisionally with a time of 128.451.
Excellent flying lap there by Victor. Nicely done. And it also shows you the undulations, which are surprising on the Red Bull Ring. You look on it as a map and you think, that's pretty boring. But then you see the difficulties, the lines you've got to take, particularly into the sharp corners 1 and 3.
Yeah, and even like the older version of Red Bull Ring is even faster, because most of their corners are rounded out in the older version of this track. Now it's actually kind of sharpened up, so it makes a lot more like hard braking points, which definitely makes for more exciting side-by-side action, but it certainly takes away just that little bit from the speediness of this circuit itself.
Yash Kayum is still in the lead. He's only, 400ths quicker than Ethan. Ethan where did Ethan come? So Ethan Rubio is P7 for Swift Sim Racing. And a good season for him. Again, we're only midway through and there's a dropped round, so there are opportunities for the likes of Ethan and Dave Chen and Nauful and Jeremy Yeo, and even, as you said, some of the guys who are only going to put 2 rounds in, that the scoring hasn't been that high so far.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of very close like championship battles and like from P4 onwards down because it's just so close in terms of points that they're practically tied right now. Eric Sacha is going to be one to watch out here. N92 Motorsports running that Ford Mustang, which I said may have a slight advantage, especially when it comes to the coming out of the exits of these corners here, getting good top speed at the end of these straights. So Eric Sacha is definitely making full use of that. Judy El Nino Gonzalez doing not too bad for himself, actually. Top 4 provisionally right now with a time of 128.527. That's within a tenth of a second of our current provisional pole, Yash Kayyum, in fact.
Yeah, we saw Judiel. He was being shadowed by when we were on board Fahim, and Judiel was actually showing the way around for Fahim. It was pretty impressive, and the fact he's got up to P4 with a 128.5 is good. Hey, some good times in here. We've got how many inside 129? 11 racers inside 129. Yeah. That's pretty healthy.
I mean, yeah, they're all within a second of each other, even all the way down to like what? 23rd place, so you know this is an extremely like contested qualifying session here. Even a difference of a tenth of a second can mean you can jump out practically 2-3 places in one go. So that's a lot of pressure that's going to be on our bronze class drivers here.
Reminder: there are 2 races here. You qualify for the first race, which is the bigger point scoring race. And so you want to get as high up as you possibly can. But then the top 10 have a reverse grid race for the lower point scoring second race. Nonetheless, there's a chance to score an awful lot of points. We're on board with Jeremy Yo. Jeremy, 5th in the championship standings, has had a P23 and a P35, followed by a P4 and a P3. So the majority of his points were scored last time out in Atlanta.
Certainly will be on for some decent haul of points here if you can keep this 5th position. Just behind him, Muhammad Ozair, in only like lapping in 126.34. That's still not enough for him to get onto the podium even right now, given his pace so far. And Hakim just behind him in the AMG GD3 from Red Pack Asia. Well, it's also 126, and he's like 30 milliseconds separates between him and Momo Ozair. So if you can find like 30 milliseconds out on the track, that's already 1 place up. You can find like 50 milliseconds, that's already pushing him closer to Jeremy Yao.
Jeremy Yao in P5 at the moment. Says he's on his outlap, is he? He's set a time. What's the tactic for these guys? Oh, there's only a minute left. So Jeremy in P5 will come round, and yeah, he'll go through and try to set another fast time.
Yeah, I think he's just going to try to beat the clock right now. I mean, trying to take advantage of the track evolution as well as like trying to find like a decent gap amongst traffic. I think that's mainly like the big thing that these drivers want to do is just find like a big gap in the traffic of cars, and basically to ensure yourself that you have a nice clean running for the lap.
Which there. I think Eric Satia has got.
Yeah, there we go. Moves up. Actually, he actually improves by an impressive like 0.3 of a second faster than Yash Kayyum, or just within 0.3 of a second, and that's enough really for him to be able to get up into pole position.
That's very impressive. Yeah, Yash is still in P2, but Eric has he's timed that. There is Yash Kayyum, the championship leader. Where is he on the circuit? Yeah, okay, so he's on his final lap.
Oh, cancels it. Yeah, he realizes he's not going to have enough time to beat the clock here. Eric Sacha is going to be pretty satisfied with that. Ethan Rubio still on the runner here right now, so we'll see whether or not he's going to be able to improve on his time running in the same car as Yash Kayyum, mind you. Oh, but goes way too deep into that corner there. I think that's pretty much cooked his lap completely. Julian Nino Gonzalez is going to come around the final 2 turns. He will stand a chance to try to gain out of this one here if he can keep a good delta. But unfortunately, as I'm looking onto the timing tower here, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do so. Takes across the line here, still remains in P4. So no improvement from our top 4 drivers right now. Mohamed Ozair still is still all the way up in Sector 1 right now. So I doubtful is going to be able to get to the line fast enough to be able to set the time.
Judiel is another first timer for us. Yeah, as you say, there's got to be 1 or 2 surprises coming our way. I think he's the first timer. He's certainly not in the top 10. He's 17th at the moment, Judiel. 25th and 20 last time out, 10th and 9th in race number 1. They're his best times. So this is a massive improvement for him to get up into the points and onto the second row of the grid in qualifying. Good work, Judiel from Philippines.
Yeah, I mean, you said first time, but like it's not his first time at ERGP. I do remember that he was in the copper class before, and he's actually performed pretty well in that one here. And this could be his best race yet after having made the step up into the bronze class. Here is our pole position holder here, Eric Satya from Indonesia. Wow, again, the time of 128.1 is super impressive when you consider how close everyone is, you know, when it came to this qualifying session and how close in performance these cars are.
You called the Mustang right, though. You did call the Mustang earlier on. You thought it'd perform here.
I've seen it in a lot of tracks where, you know, if it has a lot of, like, it has straights, one thing about these cars, right, is that they have the same power to weight ratio. They have, like, for all intents and purposes, equal power out of the engine. The only difference is their wheelbases and also like the size of the wheels. And the Mustang in particular has very good exit speed compared to other cars, and that allows it, even though that it has the same power as everyone else, if you can do it just right, you can get more top speed than everyone else by the end of the straight.
And that's what Eric Satcher did perfectly well. Then it comes down to braking as well.
Yep.
He is on pole position and looking very, very nice in that gorgeous livery.
I just love a nice, clean livery like
it
this.
It is, isn't it?
And
yes.
Black is obviously the coolest color when it comes to motor racing. I mean, praise hell, raise hell, praise Dale.
So alongside him on the front row of the grid will be the championship leader, Lash Kayan, for Hansik Sim Racing, who's had a qualification now, P1, P1, P2. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty consistent.
Yeah, I mean, again, that consistency is exactly what you need in a tightly run championship like this, isn't it? I mean, with so little rounds, you know, one drop round, or rather, like one mistake on any of these rounds means that you cut your chances in the championship by 25%.
Yes,
effectively.
Yes. Yep.
So yeah, even with the drop rounds rule, you know, you want to be able to perform consistently at every single round of this, and this round here is no exception. Yash Karyum still was putting himself onto the front row, even though he got beaten by Eric Satria. He still stands a very good chance of defending his lead.
Disappointment for Dave Chen. Dave Chen down in P18. He's third in the championship standings. He hasn't performed particularly well in qualification so far, but he's never been down as low as 18. So he's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, he's a lot of work to do from his end. I mean, let's see what it looks like from his perspective. That's how far back he is compared to Eric Satcher all the way in the front. He can barely even see the gantry from this position. I mean, much worse if you're like further into the back of the grid here. In fact, if I can see it, if I can get who is exactly at the back line here. This is the perspective from Audi, Devon Gruhaha. You can't even see the...
Is he in Austria?
Might as well be at this point. I mean, it's so far back you can barely see the gantry over the top of like Pakapon's rear spoiler right now.
Okay, so we're coming up to that is a long way back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gosh, you're almost coming into the final corner. Okay, but we're close to the start time. Eric Satria and Yash are looking to get off to a good start.
A bit slow coming out from Yash Karyum. He's going to getting cut by Ethan Rubio right from the start. You can see Julianilo Gonzalez also trying to find its way around the outside Yash, but Yash Karyum beats on the braking, although I think that's Ethan Rubio losing control. He drops all the way down to 6. Eric Satra is going to continue to move up ahead here, still stays alongside Yash Karyum. Now coming into this next corner, Yash is going to have the inside. It's going to be 3 abreast though, as Julianilo Gonzalez is also fighting around the outside. Watch out into the inside there. Yash Karyum moves up and still keeps himself ahead of Eric Satcher while Judiel goes wide. He's going to rejoin the track ahead though. Is that going to be good enough to keep him alongside? It seems like it will be, as Judiel is now fighting Yash Karyum for the very lead of this race. Coming into the downhill section, a very tricky part to break here. Yash Karyum handles it nicely and neatly as Judiel goes off onto the gravel, loses out his position there to Eric Satcher as well as Jeremy Yao.
Well, Judiel now drops down to P4. He twice went off the circuit. It worked first time. He was able to get a terrific drive out and really put pressure on Yash. Second time, though, He hit the grass, and that slowed him down, and he loses out. That's Judiel Nino Gonzalez. Spectacular in the Merc in P4, but he is in P4. Ahead of him, Yash has got off to a great start, and Eric Satya, not the best of starts, but it's not the worst either. He's in P2, comfortably ahead of Jeremy Yeo in P3.
If anything, I would say it was Yash who actually had the worst start compared to the two of them. I mean, Eric Satcher went off the line pretty much from the word go, but Yash Karyum was much slower off the line, which is surprising to see that in spite of all that, he ends the lap in the lead of this race. Ethan Rubio now trying to regain some positions after having lost out a couple thanks to that spin. He had to fight his way back from 6th position, but still remains back in P6 as Malik Fakrul as well as Judiel are not giving him any room at all. In fact, I think Malik Fakrul is attempting to make a move on the inside of Judiel as we speak.
Yeah, Judiel once again is just going to be edged out, and Malik has done a very good job, but the drive can just get you through here from Judiel. It is amazing how much pace you can generate coming up that hill. If you take the wide, you kind of slingshot your way back in, and Malik unable to take it, but he leaves his braking later. This time gets a little love tap at the back from Judiel. Malik got that braking all wrong.
Wow. Again, that's really a little bit naughty, not going to lie there from Judiel, given that he was behind. Oh, more content in the back there. It's Ethan Rubio spins out completely, and it's out of the top 10 as a result. That's a massive crash there. Massive spin for Ethan Rubio.
All kinds of people taken out as well in the chaos that followed. I think Fatou Rahman is one of the beneficiaries. He's up into P10. Dave Chen has also got himself up into P9. Mentioned him in earlier. He's the one to benefit from that chaos that we've just seen. Is he able to accelerate from the boys behind him? That'll be good for Dave Chen if he possibly can. Jordan McNeil in the Merc in P10.
Yeah, he actually just overtook Fatou Rahman in that penultimate corner, and now he's trying to fight him into turn 1. Although Fatou Rahman will have the inside this time here. Jordan McNeil is just going to cut across from him. Goes himself, gets way all of the track there, but still remains ahead of Fatou Rahman. And big crash in the back though. It's Fatou Rahman a little bit slow on the exit there, gets clattered in the back, and it spins out into P20.
Wow. Well done on staying with him. I wasn't sure that was the man to follow, but you were dead right. It was Naufal Afif is the latest one to try to come up. Malik, he's had a lot of fun. Up at the front, Yash has established a lead, but Judiel once again under pressure from Malik. Penalties against Judiel. Wow. Not surprised, actually. There's been so much contact with him, and that little kiss at the back wasn't a friendly kiss. Yeah,
definitely. That was very obvious from the helicopter cam, and I think there's also like consideration for him gaining an advantage by going off the track. You know, from that.
Yes, early on.
Very early on. So that allowed him to actually stay alongside Yash Karyum during the start of this race, and unfortunately, it's come to bite him back hard. So Malik Fakrul, though, he's still ahead of him technically on track. But Malik has been keeping him as close as possible, and looks like he may have an opportunity to pass coming around this final corner.
This has been a very entertaining first 4.5 minutes as Malik tries to look on the inside. Does he have the drive? Judiel, we know that he'll try and defend. Malik has the inside line. This time it's a little tap from Malik onto Judiel.
Oh, but watch out, on the inside. Pratama Aji takes opportunity from the two battles in front. I slip on the inside, and Malik goes into the wall.
Was he forced there, or did he just get that wrong? I suspect a little bit of retaliation there from Judiel.
Adam Hakim, in the meantime, is the one who's stuck behind Judiel right now. But yeah, that's a good question. Did Malik get forced out? In fact, he's still losing control, trying to regain position in the track. He's going to lose out so much now, rejoining the race finally in probably, 25th, 24th place. That has just gone from bad to worse here for Malik Fakrul.
The Sand and the Daffodils, the company for Malik, who was in P5 and is now down, as you say. Gosh, he's outside the top 20.
Yeah, so in the meantime, while that battle was going on, I also saw that Jordan McNeil was able to pass both Naufal Faiz as well as Paria Chotara to move his way up into PA. He's having an incredible climb right now inside the points here, Jordan McNeil.
Remembering also that Judiel has got a penalty that he's got to serve. That's just a time penalty, was it? Or does he have to go do a drive-through? I think it's a time penalty.
I think it's going to be added after the race for him, effectively. But that's going to put him, I think, very much outside of the points here, effectively. So that's just a huge blow for him. I mean, again, I think it was a combination of both, like him getting advantage off the track, but also that tap that he did on the back of Malik Fakrul. That's probably what caused a bit of consternation, although this time around he's going to get bumped into the side, and into the wall goes Judy El Nino Gonzalez.
Oh, well. Okay, lost 30 seconds anyway, as may as well go out with a highlight reel for me. Randy Go in the meantime, and Jordan McNeil having a little contretemps. Oh, that's Pratama Aji, isn't it, and Randy Go?
I think that's Adam Hakim
Adam
as well
Hakim.
as Randy Go as well, yeah. So the two of them right now battling for P5 here. That looks like it was Hakim's position to lose there as Randy Go moves up ahead of him, but Adam's going to have an opportunity under braking though. Takes Apex first, but leaves the door wide open. Randy going to catch him on the switchback.
There's being brave in leaving the braking that late, but there's also getting it wrong.
Yep, and that was all wrong there. Unfortunately for Adam Hakim, he's going to have to stay tucked in behind for it now. Meantime, bit of a three-way battle going on for P9. You got Naufal, a fifth, who's currently in that cream or beige colored car. I'm not sure what color we should call that.
Off purple. Sorry, off pink.
Off pink.
No, gosh. I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah. Any color experts there, please don't send us a hex codes there, because we cannot read hex here when it comes to color codes. But nevertheless, he's the one under pressure here. Is Ryan Lim, who was fastest in practice, is attempting to try to get himself closer and closer to P9 here. But now Naufal 5th still remains ahead of him, coming out into the final turn.
Just beyond the halfway point, Ryan Lim has a look at the fresh air in front of him. Is he going to have enough? I think he may well do, Ryan Lim. Again, you've got that drive nicely done from Lim, and he moves up into P9 ahead of Naufal.
Has to keep it though, because the next turn is still another major battling point, and Naufal is going to try to, Naufal 5th is going to try to do it around the outside this time around, and we're seeing time and time again that sometimes the outside is a bit better, but I think Ryan Lim has got it under braking though, keeps the door closed firmly onto Naufal 5th, coming out the exit of the turn.
That straight with the kink between turns 1 and 3 always confuses me, because the person who leads is so often caught in that long straight. Dave Chen moves up into P12. He's had an interesting race.
He's going to make it a little bit more interesting now, given that he's is trying to pass David Tanujaya. Two of them and being in similar liveries doesn't make it too easy to see exactly who's the one ahead, but it looks like it's Dave Chen who's finally moved his way up, and he keeps that track position now ahead of the other David.
There is Pariwat in P11. He is chasing Naufal. The Ferrari looks very nice. Looks menacing, doesn't it? Those eyes are giving it to us.
I believe that's actually a Lamborghini.
Oh, is it a Lamborghini? Sorry, yes.
I mean, same region of Italy, but different.
Yeah, rather different, Des. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is another Naufal. This is Naufal a 5th. Naufal 5 was the one in the other similar colored car, but he's also blocked a little bit by Ryan Lim ahead of him, and that's making it hard for him to defend his position versus that Lamborghini. In fact, Pariwat is going to take full advantage of this right now. The contact between the two of them causing Naufal to fall back here, and now this time Pariwat is going to try to put the pressure onto the Aston Martin on the inside. Can he do it in the braking though? Not quite. Still have to remain alongside Ryan Lim. Oh, he goes completely wide this time around. Rejoins still ahead, and Naufal 5th for now.
That happens so often. You try to make the move on that sharp right, and you get in trouble as they come round turn 3, and Pariwat under pressure. Good work from Naufal. Gets the place back. Pariwat, I think, lost his nerve a little bit and went on into the gravel.
Yeah, this is one of the trickiest parts about the inner loop of Red Bull Ring, is that the gravel makes it very very difficult to keep onto the outside line, because if you are carrying too much speed into that part, it makes it so easy for your car to just end up onto the gravel anyway, and that loses you out so much time. I mean, look at how far back Pariwat is now compared to these two battlers. I mean, he was literally alongside Naufal up until that point, but a little tap on the gravel, and that's it. You lose half a second completely.
Yeah, you work so hard to get up in that position. In the meantime, Ryan is still holding on to P9. Eric Satria getting on the back of Yash Kayum, who's the championship leader and the leader in this race. But Eric Satria is just trying to use that Mustang to good effect. Let's see if your prediction is true about the power of the Mustang.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's also V8s as well for the for Yash Kaiyum's car. Though I think Yash's car is like a mid-engine car, so it may have slight advantage when it comes to the inner loop. But Eric Satra is certainly gaining on him when it comes to these straighter, faster portions of Red Bull Ring. So he's using that to his advantage. Now getting himself very tantalizingly close. Going to try to make a move around the outside. Is that going to be enough though? Yash Kaiyum still doing a very good job of defense here, keeping himself just barely ahead of Eric Satra at every single turn.
That's a great shot from the helicopter, and Ash Kaiyum has taken the perfect line, and he's using the full width of the circuit as well. It's not the widest circuit here. It can get very, very tight, and once again, Yash has got more pace actually in this technical area, and he's pulled away from Eric Satria.
Yeah.
Not by much, but 3/10 is very, very helpful at that stage.
Well, Eric Satra, again, I think his advantage pretty much is in these straighter sections of the track, but he needs to be able to get the exit right in order to do so. I think that time around on the last corner didn't quite make it a good exit out, so Yash Kaiyum will be able to pull slightly ahead now by 0.4 of a second, so it keeps a nice, comfortable bit of breathing room right now to Eric Satria. But again, he knows that with still 2 more minutes remaining in this race here, any slight mistake here and Eric Satria will be all over him. So let's see what's going on with Nalfa Fires as well as Jordan McNeil. Jordan has actually overtaken him for 7th place, so he's absolutely on a tear right now, despite the fact we haven't been able to catch much of him. Oh, Eric Satra actually getting a lot closer to Yash Kaiyum this time around, and that's getting into the intersection, so, well, this could be another battle to keep an eye on here, Des.
It certainly is, but I tell you what, Yash is just defending ever so well. He's saying to Eric Satra, you've got to really make a move on me. You've either got to tap me to knock me out and get penalized, or you've got to go around the long way, because I am taking the racing line.
Yeah, and as long as he stays on that racing line, he shouldn't be in any trouble at all, given that the characteristics of this section does favor his car somewhat, being able to gain a lot more time onto Eric Satria coming out of the technical section, but now he's getting onto the main straight. That's where he's going to have to defend a lot more, particularly through turns 1 as well as turn 3 and 4. So we'll see how this is going to turn out. Oh, Eric Satra gets a much better exit this time around. This time he's going to be alongside Yash Kaiyum going into the first turn. Is he going to be able to cut him under braking though? He's going to try to keep it as tight as possible here. Yash Kaiyum still trying to hang it around the outside, but bumps into Eric Satra, who is on the racing line, loses out of position, and not just him, but Jeremy Yao as well, who just moves in and actually takes the place away and says, thank you very much, Yash Kaiyum, for that 2nd place.
Well, I was thinking it needed a bump to get rid of Yash, and that's what it took in the end. Jeremy Yao then goes up the inside.
Jeremy is in the thick of the action now. He's actually trying to fight Eric Satra for the very lead of this race. 2 cars, 2 front-engine cars, mind you, are now ahead of the mid-engine Corvette just behind. Oh, Yash Kaiyum very late on the brakes. Constantine causes Jeremy to get ping-pong between the 2 of them. Opened up the gap a little bit now to Yash Kaiyum. Jeremy still remains within 3/10 of Eric Satra out of that little contact.
Wow, but that's the kind of concertina that we are expecting. And the man at the end of it who's come through with the lead, 32 seconds to go. They probably will finish this lap. Yes, they will finish this lap. They're coming up into the final 2 corners, so we've got 1 more lap of this to go. Unless Eric somehow manages to slow right the way down. 16 seconds to go. It's going to be nip and tuck.
Yeah, he's up to Eric Satra right now to try to beat the clock. 10 seconds. I think you're right. He might be able to beat the clock here, but
5, 4.
Again, the control line is very far forward here. I think Eric Satra just barely makes it there. Yep, another lap. But that also means another lap for him to defend against Jeremy Yao for the lead of this race.
Wow, okay. So Jeremy Yao has a chance. Poor old Yash, he has been really pushed backwards. Number 1, he was barged out the way. Then he lost the place to Jeremy Yao. Jeremy's making some aggressive moves.
Yeah, really trying to feint around there to keep Eric Satra guessing which way he's going to try to attack. But unfortunately, he's come through and Eric Satra is still slightly ahead. Now it's going to come down to this technical section here. Can Jeremy Yao do it under braking though? This is a very tricky part to break because it does go slightly downhill. Jeremy Yao is going to try to get a switch back, but look at that. Eric Satra just hugs that inside curb so tightly that Jeremy Yao is not able to exploit much out of it. Still remains behind him. going into the second downhill part of this turn. Eric Satcher a little bit slidey though on the entry, but still keeps himself slightly ahead of Jeremy Yao.
Yash not being able to make any impact. He's not been able to close the gap at all. This is the 1, 2, 3 at the moment as we're coming into the final. Well, 1, 2 big corners. And it's been impressive from Eric Satcher. He was a second and a half down at one stage, got himself back up, put the pressure on Yash, took the movement, took the position as he comes into the final corner. This is for the win for Eric Satcher. Will it be? It's the Mustang. You called it, Victor. And the Mustang of Eric Satcher takes the victory from Jeremy Yao. And the championship leader, Yash Kayam, comes in P3.
There we go. Pratama Aji makes it to P4 ahead of Randy Gore. Jordan McNeil makes up another place and moves up to P6. What an impressive climb for the guy who started, I believe, in P10 or P9 at the start of this race. Naufal Faiz makes it into P7. Adam Hakim makes it up into P8. Ryan Lim in P9. Naufal Afif in P10. 11th place goes to Muhammad Yanuar, also from M92 Motorsport. Ronaldo J. Alojado makes it up to 12th. David Tanujaya into 13th. Fahim Hatta makes it up into 14th. And Zek Wongxia makes up the 15th and final points paying position for race number 1.
In terms of the reverse grid, it'll be Naufal Afif who's on the front row of the grid alongside Ryan, the new boy Ryan Lim. Who that'll be an interesting one because, as you said, he was fastest in practice, didn't really show the same in qualification, but leading from the front row. Let's see what kind of a start he can do because in that shortened race, you never know. He could cause a problem or two.
Yeah, another one I think we'll have to watch out for given the level of climbing he was doing during this race here is Jordan McNeil.
Yep.
I mean, he was able to make up from like, the 10th place, I believe, all the way up to 6th in this first race alone. And given that the slower drivers will be ahead of him coming into this reverse grid, I think he stands a really good chance. Although, again, with the battling going on for the leader race between Eric Satcher and Jeremy Yao, I'm really looking forward to seeing these two come to blows again later on in race number 2. And Yash Kayum, even though he did lose out both at the start of this race and towards the end, still a handy amount of points here, finishing P3.
Yeah, that's very nice for the championship leader. A P3 added to a P1 and a P10 last time. So he finished P10. He started in P10 last time out in reverse grid race, but he's done well actually in the first reverse grid race where he finished in P5. So let's see how this works because there are points available. Yep, you want the big points for race number 1, but you can make a big difference to your championship standings by what you do in race number 2.
Yeah, and given the reverse grid is going to be in effect here, these faster drivers are going to be starting further behind the grid. So, I mean, as we've seen with like Bima Surya, sometimes you're going to be able to climb your way up the grid, but sometimes with like Neil Harris, with Neil Harris, like he lost out massively and didn't even finish inside the points, just missed out by 1 car position to get there. So it can be a mix of fortunes and it really comes down to how well you're able to race even from the middle of the pack.
That little graphic there shows you just the elevations that you have at the Red Bull Ring, which always surprise me a little bit, particularly going into turns 1 and 3. It can be very, very decisive. But you called the Mustang. You called it absolutely spot on.
Again, we've seen this from like multiple seasons now. Like even though this BCRC mod is supposed to have like equalized like the power from the engines across all the cars, some cars do have characteristics that give them better like exit speed, and that is been like the key for a lot of Mustang riders. Yeah, that's why a lot of drivers still prefer to use a Mustang, especially on faster tracks like Spa-Francorchamps, for example, where if you can maximize your top speed, you can easily gain a lot of positions here, in spite of the fact that all the other cars, or maybe because of the fact that all the cars have equal amounts of horsepower.
Race number 2 is imminent. Naufal Afif will be on pole position. Alongside him, Ryan Lim, a debutant. Onto the second row, Naufal Faiz. Alongside him will be Jordan McNeil, who, as you say, is one to watch, particularly starting from P4. On P5, Randy Go on the third row. Alongside Randy Go will be Pratama Aji. Again, in the Nexus. Yash, the championship leader, in P7. Alongside Jeremy Yeo in the BMW. And then Eric Satcher. And the man who... Well, in P10 is Mohammed Yanwar. How does that work out? Thought Eric would be in P1. Yeah, we're missing one, aren't we?
Missing one car just now.
So that's being corrected now. Randy, Adam Hakim,
Adam Hakim was
in
the last
P3.
one in. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be running into the next one here as Naval Fitz gets a really good start. And Ryan Lim has actually lost up massively out of here. In the meantime, Naval Fight is going to try to cut him around the inside here. Watch out for Jordan McNeil around the inside here. He's going to be able to cut his way into second place just off of the swing of a bat. And massive contact going on in the background there. Those cars were just completely lost it there. Massive pile-up going on in turn 1 as the rest of the cars file their way through. Nafal is going to be able to keep his lead here by 1 whole second ahead of Jordan McNeil. In the meantime, another car goes wide there. I think it's Nafal Faiz who goes completely wide. Rejoins the track just behind Ryan Lim. Randy Go still remains ahead of his teammate right now, but Adam Hakim somehow has managed to miss all of that chaos here, and is now trying to battle Jordan McNeil into the inside, going downhill now. Jordan McNeil, he managed to make his way up into P2, but not for long here. Adam Hakim seems to have the last word going into the intersection.
I was going to say Jordan McNeil had come out absolutely on top out of that from P5 up into P2. But what a start from Naufal Afif. While there was chaos going on behind him, he got off to an absolute flyer. Randy Go is there in P4. Ryan Lim, he was on the front row of the grid and he got off to a stinker of a start. Yeah. But he'd recovered a little bit. He's got himself down into P5, but wow, not what you wanted from the front row.
In the meantime, our race 1 winner has made up a few places here. Actually got ahead of Fahim Hatta here. Takes 7th place. In fact, Fahim Hatta is in a little bit of trouble as he's getting passed on the inside here as Pratama Aji moves up. He's going to have Yash Kayyum for company though, who's also trying to make his way up to close the gap between himself and Eric Satra. He was stuck behind these 2 drivers. Now coming through turn 1, he's ahead of those 2 drivers.
Nice by Yash. That was very neatly done. Somebody who's not impressed so far is Jeremy Yo. He's dropped down a couple of places, down to P11. He was in P9, wasn't he? He was second, so yeah. He's dropped down a couple of places. Nice and congested ahead of them. Eric Satria goes up alongside Ryan Lim and may well have a chance to grunt past him as they come down this long, is it a straight? Long kinky straight.
It's an almost straight. It's almost straight. It's a little bit of a kink as well, and it goes downhill and it breaking through here. Ryan Lim attempted to try to break a little bit later. Randy Go couldn't quite make it though. Still stays behind him as Randy Go now actually tries to put a move onto Naval Faiz right at this point. Let's see if he's going to be able to gain through this technical section. You have to be very much threading the needle going through this part anyway because of the gravel traps around the outside and also the inside here. So you have to keep it nice and tidy through here. It seems like these drivers are able to do so.
Exactly. That was a great shot there to prove exactly that point. And you're quite right about these gravel tracks as Yash takes a tumble. Yash is out.
Yash is out.
And Eric Satcher as well.
Exactly. The 2 of them come completely wide as they lose out the positions they worked so hard to gain, and they're back to square one. From where they started this race off in. Randy Go in the meantime now trying to make the move on the inside. Naval Faiz through turn 1. Is he going to be able to get it? He is going to be able to stay on track. Naval Faiz is going to go over the sausage curb. That's lost him quite a bit of time. Ryan Lim is also trying to look his way around the outside of the next turn, or rather not this turn. The next one is coming up here with the hard braking. Right on the line there, the 3 cars, even the 4th car as well. With Fahim Hatta trying to get into the mix, couldn't quite find his way through. But Ryan Lim still is going to be able to stay ahead enough of Faiz through all of that.
Randy Go it is who leads that little train of 4 as they come around this corner. Ryan Lim has a look on the outside of Randy Go. Randy Go, though, he's got the right to hold that line. And there's the gravel traps. Don't want to go too wide there. Naufal Faiz very nearly did so. Oh, Randy Go, he holds the line coming into this left-hander. Ryan Lim tries to go the long way round and stay out of the gravel at the same time. Gosh, he's dicing with trouble is Ryan Lim, and loses a place.
Yeah, a little bit of a tap there from Randy. That's enough to force Ryan Lim to drop out a couple of positions. Fahim Hatta moves up ahead of him, as well as Naval Faiz. This time he's going to be one attacking Randy Go around the penultimate corner and into the final turn to come. A little bit on the outside there. That's opened up the door for Ryan Lim to come through as well. He's regained the position back behind Randy Go now and stays ahead of Naval Faiz coming out that final turn.
Wow, there was some really good action there and very disciplined driving from all 5 5 of those drivers in this train. And also keep an eye on Pratama as well. He's in P8 as well. I think he's in the black livery as Pratama.
Yep.
Pratama Aji, yeah. So he's in that mix as well, just looking for any mistake. In fact, he's got up ahead of Fahim. But that's a fast train right then. There were 4 abreast going around this corner last time. This time it's a little less chaotic.
Still very tight though between these two drivers here, Fahim Hatta as well as Pratama Aji, who I both believe are both from Indonesia as well, so a bit of rivalry here. Similar to that, they're also in similar cars here, both driving the Corvette as Fahim, whoa, takes a dive on the inside, forces the two of them into the wall.
Wow. Rivalry you mentioned earlier on, that was just a brain fade.
Yeah. It's a moment of a blackout there between the two of them, and that's unfortunately rather maybe for Jeremy Yao fortunate enough that happened, because that brought him up to 7th place now ahead of the two of them.
That's very lucky for him. I'd love to know what happened there, because he wasn't turning into a corner because it was way too early. I'm just wondering whether or not he's taken his eye off the steering wheel and pulled the steering wheel down.
I don't know, it could be just the rubbing between the two of them. And you know, one thing to consider as well is like netcode issues. Sometimes when you have 2 cars in collision, if the netcode is a little bit desynced, sometimes it causes like unexpected behavior between the cars. So that could be one thing, but definitely it means that the 2 cars were very much in contact with each other before they went to the wall.
Indeed, there was certainly unexpected behavior. Meantime, we're on board with Fahim Hatta, who's in P8. Jeremy Yeo is the orange livery just in front of him. Fahim tries to go around the outside, but Jeremy Yeo, who got himself a P2 in race number 1, has to give way. And then we'll see if he can slingshot around. So often we see that he's able to do so. Has he been able to on this occasion, Jeremy? The answer is...
not quite. Still alongside. Although Fahim Hatta may have a slight advantage going into this breaking point here, but Jeremy Yao is going to cut him around the outside here. Still has to hang it over the curb in order to be able to keep himself alongside. Who was that? It was just lit out there. I think there's Muhammad Yanuar, who's now having to rejoin the race here. In the meantime, Fahim continues to bring the battle with Jeremy Yao as Eric Satra is hanging in behind, trying to hopefully pick up some scraps out of this. Fahim goes a little bit wide there. Doesn't quite lose out too much time. Still remains ahead of Eric Satria.
I think Jeremy Yao has worked ever so hard there to keep into P7. That is only P7. P6 now for Faiz is a long way away, but Jeremy Yao is there. He's got Eric Satria also looking to make it. Well, he had a win in race number 1, looking to get as many points as he possibly can, because Naufal, the other Naufal, is leading by quite some way, nearly 2 seconds clear up at the front, and free track ahead of him, free track behind him. He can enjoy the countryside.
Yeah, well, let's just look at that view. Even represented very well here inside of Assetto Corsa itself. But it's definitely a view that these drivers, unfortunately, would not be able to enjoy too much, given that their focus is very much on the road, as well as the cars that are stuck around them. Meantime, the 3-way battle between Jeremy Yao, Fahim Hatta, and Eric Satra continuing to heat up now. Eric Satra having a good run out onto the inside of Fahim Hatta this time around. I think Fahim is still going to be able to keep himself slightly ahead here. So Eric Satra still has to tuck in behind, still remains in P9. Redwan Shah is the one into the wall there.
Oh, wow. Redwan, for a moment, I thought it was Yash. But Yash is still hanging in there.
Yeah,
in P10.
Still hanging in and just having a front row seat pretty much in this little battle that's going on in front of him. As you can see, still a lot of jostling going around. Fahim Hatta trying to have a look on the inside that time here as we are on board right now with Eric Satria. Being whether or not Fahim Hatta will be able to regain that, regain a good exit out of here. But again, you can see from the onboard just how tricky it is to be able to stay on the racing line through this section, isn't it?
Certainly is. But Eric Satria, he's not. There's still time left. 6 minutes left. Plenty can happen. I think he'll just let Fahim and Jeremy Yeo battle with each other. Jeremy's been under intense pressure for 3 laps now. He's certainly been on the defense, and Fahim looks on the inside. Fahim, has he got enough grunt to get ahead? He has just now. Jeremy Yao, though, has proven to be very capable at slinging his way around that first corner, and does so once again. Brilliant from Jeremy Yao.
Yeah, still remains ahead here. Eric Satra is attempting to try to pick up something out of this. He's going to try to go around the outside the next turn. Fahim Hatta will have defense this time around to think about. And coming around from the outside of that turn, he will have the inside coming into this one here. Stays ahead of Eric Satra through the switchback. So still very much single file line with Jeremy Yao this time being the one ahead.
Yash is the man who's closing in, though. The man in P10, Yash Kayum. He has closed right onto the back of this train with 5 minutes to go. He will think that there's an opportunity to pick up a place or two here.
I think a bit of a slide there from Fahim Hatta. That's opened up the door now for Eric Satria to move his way through. Can he keep it, though? It looks like Eric Satria will have to do it under braking this time. And Yash Kayum is also in a position here to try to pick up something out of this. He's going to be on the inside of Fahim Hatta, in fact, coming into this turn here. So, again, Fahim Hatta is not only going to have to attack Eric Satria, he's going to have to keep an eye out for Yash Kayum, who's trying to fight him on the inside.
This is not good for Fahim Hatta, second in the championship standings, but being squeezed by the championship leader, Yash Kayum, but also drivers who are trying to force their way into those championship standings. Jeremy Yao, this is a great weekend for him. And Fahim is chasing Eric Satria, who's already got a race win to his name.
Get a bit of slipstream and a bit of momentum to help him, but this goes uphill, though. Very tricky to get the braking right here, and unfortunately, he's going to have to ride over the curbs. That's going to lose him a bit of time, not just Eric, but also Yash Kayum. Now he's going to have to play defense after trying so hard to play offense, man. This time, I think Yash Kayum has him dead to rights. 3 wide now to get into the turn here. This is going to be tricky here, but Yash Kayum has the inside. He's going to try to cut ahead of Eric Satria, and he gets spun around.
Yash Kayum, that could be an important moment in the championship. He was overly aggressive in my point of view. He'd worked his way up beautifully, but he was right in the middle of that sandwich. And if anyone was going to come out worse for wear, it was always going to be Yash Kayum.
Yeah, well, that's just unfortunate for him, but yeah, that pretty much puts him outside of the points here for race number 2 with less than 3.5 minutes to go. In the meantime, a bit of a battle is heating up on the podium here as I was watching Randy Gold inching himself closer and closer to Adam Hakim, and looks like he's imminently in a position now to attack going onto the main straight.
Yeah, this is the only real positional threat. Naufal Afif is leading from Jordan, who you called very early on. He's had a good time, Adam Hakim. Then goes way, way wide. Holds on to P3, but for how long? Surely he can't hold on down this straight. And he's under pressure from Ryan Lim at the same time.
Yep, a bit of a touch as well as they try to come into turn 1. He ran right into Randy Gold, but Randy is still able to pull ahead. Ryan Lim is going to be able to pick up some scraps out of that, though, as Adam Hakim had to go way wide out of the corner. In fact, it's going to be Ryan Lim now who will be challenging Randy Gold for position. Might be another 3-wide situation, though, although I think Adam Hakim wisely backed out of that just in time to allow Randy and Ryan to continue to fight their way through. It looks like Randy still keeps himself ahead of the Aston Martin, at least for now.
That was cleverly done by Adam Hakim. The worst place to be would have been in the middle of the sandwich, but there you see. Ryan Lam is in P4, Randy Go in 3, and Adam Hakim has got opportunities. Still 2:10 to go, which is what? We are 1.5 laps?
Yeah, I think about 1.5 laps.
1.5 laps to left.
Right, yeah. But again, it really depends on where Naufal Afif is going to be able to beat the clock in that regard. And I think he might have enough to perhaps have another 2 laps after this, because it's just coming around to the final 2 corners right about now, and I estimate about 20 seconds from that point there to get into the control line on the main straight. So we could be looking at another 2 laps of battling, and that could be a godsend here for Ryan Lim, who not only has already taken up a position from Adam Hakim to move out of 4, but is now within touching distance of 3rd place.
You're quite right. There will be a final lap after this. I think we've got 2 laps to go. He went over with 1:33, unless he's able to slow down now for Afif and really control things. But his lead is only 1.9 seconds from Jordan McNeil. It would be dangerous for him to slow this one down too much to try to make this his last lap.
Well, I mean, this is whether or not he wants to help Ryan or wants to help Randy Go in this instance, I suppose. But neither of them are teammates. Maybe they might know each other in real life. But then again, you know, Naufal's got a race win in mind.
Absolutely, of course he has.
Yeah, so he will definitely want to keep that ahead of Jordan McNeil. Ryan Lim, in the meantime, is just going to be praying and hoping that Naufal beats the clock. In the meantime, Adam Hakim goes off to find his people, I guess. Disconnection there, unfortunately, for Adam Hakim, who had been for so long locked in this battle as well. But unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to him.
Occupational hazard in eRGP, I'm afraid. Glad to say it's a lot rarer than it used to be in the early stages of Season 1. We're into Season 18 now of the Global Edition. Ryan Lynn happily in P4. Now he can focus his attention on Randy Go. Right then, where are we?
Yeah, we're going to be
14 seconds. We're going to have another lap.
I think so. I think very likely 10 more seconds, and I think Naufal Afif should be able to make it to that line. And Ryan Lim is going to attempt to try to make another move here coming into turn 1. He's going to try to get the momentum as much as possible off of Randy Go's car. It's going to be enough for him, though. He just switches around to the outside of Randy here, so is that going to be enough? He's going to ride right over the curbs, though. That's lost him a bit of time here. He's going to have to try again.
That's the battle for P3. Just behind them, Nofal Faiz is coming in as well. For Nofal Faiz, he'd love to pick up some additional points. It's going to be difficult, though. He's 1 second down. But if those two are racing, if those two knock each other about, Ryan Lim and Randy Go, and they've both been very aggressive, there could still be a chance for Naufal.
Yeah, it's still going to be a big chance here for Ryan Lim. I mean, there's still many corners to go here, and they've been absolutely at it for the last 2 laps here. But Ryan Lim still has to tuck in behind, coming out of the downhill corner, now coming into the more technical part here. This is where it gets a little bit tricky, but Ryan Lim, it's going to be catching him already into the inside this corner. He tries to move himself up. Now he needs to keep the door closed. He does keep the door closed.
Great move, Ryan Lim.
Randy.
Yeah, excellent. Randy Go loses out, and I think he wanted to make sure that he didn't crash, he didn't take them both out. A little bit conservative there. Naufal Afif will come round. He will take this final corner. This is from flag to finish, he has been the man in control. Naufal Afif enjoys a little celebration. His first win of the season. 5 races, each race he's got better and better. Jordan McNeil comes in P2 in the Mercedes, and Ryan Lim on debut in 3. Randy Go, Naufal Faiz complete your top 5, and Jeremy Yeo completes a very, very nice weekend.
Yeah, nice one indeed. Finishes ahead of Fahim Hatta. Eric Sacha remains in P8. Shevan Ritarana from Sri Lanka takes it to P9. And Dave Chen makes it 1 point here in race number 2, just in the nick of time. And, consolations here for Yash Qayyum. Misses out on a point here by the end of this race, but I think he also knew it was pretty much over when he spun out early on in this race.
Yeah, out of the points, but he'll still have the championship lead. Oh no, he won't, because it's so tight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fahim Hatta has picked up useful points here in P7, so we could have a new championship leader.
Well, we could, at least for... we'll have to see as well by the end of the season when we have to drop rounds as well, how much this round itself is going to affect Yash Qayyum. But Naufal Afif definitely going to be very happy to be able to pick up these points here. He's just going to be joining some of his friends here for a little lap around the circuit.
Peach. That's the color. Peach. And it was a peach of a job as well by Naufal Afif.
Nice that you finally figured out what the color was as Naufal gets spun around there. I think that was by Jordan McNeil. And Randy Go just clatters into them for a good measure. But, well, that was a pretty fun race, actually.
I'm wondering for Yash Qayyum how important that 0 points in race number 2 is going to be. Because it means that he's had an iffy round. It means he can't have another iffy round because he's only got 1 round to drop.
Yeah, so, yeah, again, margin's going to be very tight here from here on out, but the margins were already tight, coming into this round itself, between all the top 10 fighting inside the championship here anyway. So I think one of the drivers who probably lost up quite a bit was Fahim Hatta.
Yes.
Yeah, from like race 1 and as well as race 2, didn't quite make a big impact in this race itself.
But Jeremy Yeo, he had a very good race 1. I think it was P2 in race 1 and he had P7 in race 2. So he'll pick up significant number of points.
Yeah, it's going to be enough for him to keep the championship like tie that he has right now to Naufal Faiz, pretty much on pretty much going into the final round here. I think he's going to be taking the lead, in fact, coming into the 4th round.
I think so. Okay, so there is the bronze category done. We've still got the gold and silver at the same races, so 2 championships in 1 coming your way. We've had copper, we've had bronze. Coming up next is gold and silver. You're watching eRGP Season 18. Don't go too far away. We'll be back with you in just a few minutes' time.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
Hi, welcome along to eRacing GP with Victor and Des. We have got one more double set of races to go in gold and silver class in Global Edition 18, and we are in round 3 of 4 of the season. We're at the Red Bull Ring in Austria, which is a squarish long straight and a lovely technical sequence. And gold and silver. Complications as maybe back markers, maybe not.
That's the thing, like that was something that was discussed earlier on during the driver's briefing earlier on, where our race steward actually reminded the drivers that, you know, we're going to be following the rules of like the WEC, where the cars that are back markers, you know, are not really obliged to give way, you know, to the faster cars behind. In fact, they should stay on the racing line and let the faster cars figure out how to overtake them.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that is a complication for us then. Looking forward to that one. So we put the two into one. So there are 2 championships that we're looking for. Mohammed Tazbeh is the man who's leading the way in the gold class, and then he's got a 71 points. He's been racing in both race rounds so far. Eamon Ryan though is the man to really keep an eye out for. He has had his drop round. He completely missed out in Atlanta, so he can't afford any bad times. But he was so impressive. He won both races back to back in round 1. So Eamon Ryan, keep an eye out for him, even though he's only joint level with Kanzani Ramdani on 36 points, and with young Keith Moe. Keith Moe's still young, isn't he?
Still very young, in fact, like one of the youngest, if not the youngest, amongst our gold class drivers here. So great to see that he's still very much inside the top 10 when it comes to the standings here. But definitely, yeah, the big topic here is going to be about Eamon Ryan for sure. He missed out the last round, and that's allowed Mohammed Tazbeh to actually gain a significant lead now. So I guess, like for Eamon Ryan, he effectively already had his drop round, so he cannot afford to miss out both this race as well as the next one.
We should also remember that there's many other drivers involved as well. Apisak is leading the way from Thailand, but look how tight that is. Chester Ilog from Philippines on 47 points, along with Sukan Pino. So 2 Thais leading the way there. Ethan Lowe, an ever-present in ERGP. He's in P4 on 43 points. And Daniel Waitan on 40 points. There is so much competition. Even Thethan Aranga from Sri Lanka, who I think is in. I saw him in before, did I, Thethan?
Well, we'll have to see later on when we get into the server itself. But nevertheless, yeah, he's certainly he made a huge impact when he came to the bronze class, and now in the silver class, he's finding a lot more faster.
That's right, he stepped up, didn't he? We stepped him up, of course.
We did. So yeah, I mean, came off as like a bronze class champion. Now is having to fight, and it's gonna have quite a journey to make it up into the lead of silver class. But you see how tight the points are. I think there's still a chance for him even.
Absolutely, indeed. With 2 more rounds to go, lots of points up for grabs. 2 races in each. There's a qualification, and then that leads to race number 1, 15 minutes. Then a reverse grid race where only 10 drivers score points. Okay, we're in qualifying. We've got 7.5 minutes to go. Let's have a look at Eamon Ryan. Let's see how he's doing in his souped-up car.
Yeah, we're running a Ferrari liveried Scuderia Glickenhaus car, which is quite rare to see in the front of the grid, but surprisingly in this season it's actually been a pretty competitive car through the last couple of rounds. So I think with Eamon Ryan behind the wheel of this, we'll see whether or not he'll be able to get a good lap out here. And again, we're running in the gold and silver class, so not only have other gold class drivers to watch out for, you also got to watch out for the silver class drivers who are going to be running a slightly slower car. And I say only slightly because even in the past we've seen silver class drivers fighting quite hard even amongst the gold class drivers, especially at the top end. So here we are on board with Eamon Ryan again. He's going to be one to he did win the first round of the season itself, had to miss the second one. This time around he's going to be looking to make it another win here, and this third round here, lest he loses out completely to Mama Taspi.
It's almost like he's got a lap marker there. That's where I should hit, that nice stick in front of him, just to tell him exactly where he should be going. A little bit of a smoke thrown up from a tire in front of him. He's got Eamon Ryan here. He's 4th at the moment. We're going to get well under the 120s, maybe close to the 117s on the fastest laps.
Yeah, again, I think effectively the biggest difference when we talk about the different classes is that your reaction times have to be way sharper once the higher up the classes you get. I mean, the cars get a lot more faster. I think the difference between copper class and bronze class, at least here on Red Bull
15 seconds, isn't it?
About 8 to 10 seconds actually.
Is it?
On
That's
average.
more. Oh, yeah, 128. Yes,
yeah.
128.
So
yes.
yeah, and then when it comes up to between bronze class to the gold and silver classes here, I think it's another 8 to 10 seconds as well. So that means there's 8 to 10 seconds less time spent on the track, and that means your reaction times when it comes to braking, when it comes to moving, weaving, or overtaking, all that has to be way sharper, when you get to these higher classes.
Eamon Ryan, we're still on with him. Let's have a look around. Galandi just in front of him.
Yep, I think we're seeing Rajamil Shaukat, who's taken the provisional pole, though messed up a little bit coming out of the pits there. He's going to have to teleport back to do it all over again. Mohammad Tasbi currently holds the second fastest time, and that's only by 20 milliseconds pretty much to Rajamil Shaukat here. So Mohammad Tasbi conversely is running the BMW V8 hybrid on this race here. Kanzani Ramdani is currently in that 3rd spot here, running the Ferrari, a beautiful car, and the one that just won Le Mans just recently.
They shouldn't allow spoilers on Ferraris.
Yeah, so that's indeed a spoiler, isn't it? Spoils the look of the car.
Absolutely. But there is Kanzani Ramdani. Where is he in the championship standings? In the gold, Ramdani is in P6 at the moment. He had a win in Shanghai in race number 1. In fact, he had a terrific time in race number 1 in Shanghai, a P4 and a P1. So he's certainly got the ability to get up near the top on that spoiled Ferrari.
I mean, he's definitely been very racy even in the last round itself. So let's see whether or not he'll be able to make more progress here. Though, again, Mohammad Tasbi has just retaken that pole position here by margins of 40 milliseconds.
Inside 119, though. That's impressive.
Crazy fast. But again, he just when I mentioned about having to thread the needle and all that, can you imagine how much more harder it is to do in these way faster cars, compared to what we had in the copper and as well as the bronze class. It's just so easy to make a mistake, and especially when you got cars coming out and then just stopping randomly on the side of the track like that, it can certainly make for a few heart-stopping moments there.
Tasbi, 5th gear, 6th gear, getting up to 280 kilometers per hour. And takes the apex, goes the long way round. He's a lovely driver we've seen over the years, and he just sweeps down this straight. And again, that's where you see the undulations of this circuit, which constantly take me by surprise. And Tasby, focused as ever. Fadli Rahmat, one of my favourites from Indonesia. Another one in the Ferrari. With the lower spoilers, not quite as aesthetically displeasing.
I was hoping to catch one of the Peugeots because, like, those are the one of the few cars that does not have a spoiler in the back. Although I don't. Ah, there you go. Alonso Marquez Lacambra sporting the older spec, as it were, for the Peugeot because currently in the WEC they had to put the spoiler back on eventually. But there you go. That's a spoilerless car right there for you. This.
Okay, my new favourite, Alonso Lacambra. Come on, my boy. There he is. Aesthetic points.
Yeah, in the back for sure. They're definitely leading the aesthetics championship, the the beauty queen of the track, as it were.
In terms of pace, though, Mohamed Tasby is still leading the way, and he's in P10, is Alonso. But there is Tasby. He got 1:18.956. Is he able to improve on that?
It's going to be a very fine margin on to improve on that. And you got Rajamiro Shaukat, who is running the Aston Martin Valkyrie in this round here. What a very what do you call it? Very avant-garde, I have to say. I mean, it looks practically like an F1 car from some angles here, and with the V12 on board as well, it's it's a fascinating car. I expect to drive
in classic racing green colours as well. With well, kind of racing green, with a bit of camouflage, army camouflage. Raja Amral Shokat. He's had a good season, second in the championship standings for Red Pack Asia eRacing team. 5th and 5th in round 1, 4th and 2nd in round 2. Sai Prithvi from India, 3rd in the championship standings. Very good time in Atlanta. 2nd in qualifying, 2nd and 4th in the race. 2nd in qualifying here as well as Sai Prithvi.
Yeah, having a nice clear bit of track ahead of him as well. So that's going to help him a lot in his attempt to try to make his way up the ranks. But he needs to find, like, what? Just under 0.2 of a second in order to beat Kazane Ramdani's time. Gerlandi Haki, in the meantime, oh, look at that. Almost all black. It's almost like Vanta black, pretty much. In some angles here, you can't even see the silhouette of the car as it comes around.
Beautiful. Looks great. Even though it's graphics, it looks gorgeous, doesn't it?
Yeah, so here's Iman Ryan, still in 7th place, still sporting the Ferrari livery, the Glickenhaus car. Cameron James was the fastest in practice, but unfortunately right now only sits about 8th fastest here in qualifying. Young Keith Moore, also in the Scuderia Glickenhaus, is currently sitting in, well, he was sitting in P9 until Alonso Marquez Lacambra somehow found another like 0.2 of a second to beat Keith Moore to his time.
Okay, we are on the final lap for all of the leading racers. Keith Moe in P10 at the moment. Tasby still leading the way. Still only he and Raja. So Tasby, I think, has decided he's set the mark. Alonso set his fastest time as well. He's going to be on the 5th row of the grid. Is Raja still out there? He certainly is.
Yep.
And he's coming round. Can he improve? Well, 18.956 is the target. He's got to be 0.4 faster than his previous best time. He's outside of that at the moment, just slightly. And indeed, he will not improve. He'll be on the front row of the grid. Although Cameron James has come through with a, 1,000th of a second outside of a place on the front row for Cameron James.
Gee, that's just really close between the two of them here. I mean, again, like, given that these cars are extremely fast, so I can only imagine how little difference there really is between Raja and Cameron James's own laps here. Nevertheless, that is going to be for the gold class. For the silver class, I think Chesa Elo has wrapped it up here with his pole position in the silver class here. He finishes, he has a time about 30 milliseconds faster than Chong Jin Bin, he has been fighting pretty hard so far inside this championship. Justin Raul Def makes it to provisional 3rd place right now. Already saw the checker flag. Jin Bin is still out on track right now. He's going to be able to improve on his time as he comes across the line. Yes, he will. He comes in pole position now for the silver class.
That's well done by Chong Jin Bin. Very nicely done indeed. And it's very helpful for his championship standings. He had a 14th and a 12th last time out, but a fastest in qualifying in Shanghai in his class in silver.
Yep. So that's how the cookie crumbles now. Chong Jin-bin in the lead for the silver class. For the gold class, Mohamed Tasbih still remains in the lead there. I mean, very tight qualifying actually between Rajamil Shaukat as well as Cameron James here. 1/1000th of a second between the two of them. That's like it's so fast. It's faster than blinking, isn't it?
It's a spoiler. That's all it is.
It's a spoiler.
It's a spoiler.
Yeah, it's the spoiler. That's all. That's all it is there to it. So here we go. Ferrari's going to be actually one row behind the other here, as Fadli as well as Kanzani will be taking 4th and 5th respectively. Eamon Ryan does improve on his time. Actually,
he did. P6. Well done.
P6 now ahead of the Indian driver Saipriti Sudhakar. Galani Haki in the 8th position with the all-black Vanta Black girl Acura LMP. Then we also got Alonso Marcos Lacambra with a spoilerless Peugeot in the 9th position.
Come on, Marcus.
Yeah. And Keith Moore runs it up in the top 10 here for the gold class.
Okay, we are all just about set. It's a 15-minute first race. There are your pole sitters. Chong Jin-bin was our pole in the silver class. Second will be Chester Ilog in 15th, actually.
Just love the Heinz, that little Heinz on the wearing a Ferrari suit here on his car.
As Victor enjoys the the work that's being done by the on the liveries.
I just love the memes, especially coming from our ERGP community here.
Justin Dev in 4th fastest. Daniel Whiten from Philippines. That's in silver still. Yeah, he's 5th fastest. 6th fastest, Ethan Lowe. 7th fastest after Ethan.
Sukan Pino.
Ooh, wow.
Sporting the Alpine livery Orica here.
3rd in the championship standing, so he's got some work to do, Sukan. Savin we are 8th here.
And then we've got Elliot Stewart-Nagel in 9th position, and Apisak Chongkiti Warakul,
who's the championship leader.
So very far back in the line. So let's go ahead and head to our race start. It's going to be another race here, 2 classes, and the last race for the night for us here in round number 3. Lights are going off, and here we go. Mohamed Tasbih having a decent start, although I think that Kanzani Ramdani is looking for an opportunity to get himself past Cameron James. In fact, he's already getting himself onto the inside here. Rajamil Shaukat has to take way off into the outside, gets over the curbs there, and allows Mohamed Tasbih to sail away into the distance. Kanzani Ramdani does get himself ahead of Cameron James and move up into 2nd place in the meantime. Just behind him, I think Fadli is looking to try to make his way around the outside of Rajamil Shaukat, who, in spite of the start there, didn't quite make it too well. Kanzani Ramdani goes way off of the track, though, as he attempts to try to fight side by side with Cameron James. Actually comes back on the track in front of Cameron James.
Yeah, that might be a penalty. That might be bad news for Raja. Cameron James in P3 at the moment. Tasbih, though, I was worried that he'd get off to a good start, because once he's in the lead, it's so difficult to get past Mohamed Tasbih. He is the championship leader for a reason. But behind him, you have got Kanzani, who, well, he might... I'll wait to see if there's a penalty for him there, because he was off the racing line for so long, and he came back in front of Cameron James.
Yeah, again, that's going to be left up to our race steward to see whether that decision will come through. But as it stands right now, Kanzani is going to be ahead of both Rajamil Shaukat as well as Cameron James as they file around now through the final corners here. It looks like... yeah, still very close between these guys here. In the meantime, let's see
Daniel,
what happens.
Wow.
Yeah, Daniel's actually made his way into the front of the silver class here. Going to be ahead of Chong Jin-bin to come around the final corner. Where exactly is Apisak ended up? Apisak still down in P20 right now, as Ethan Lowe actually makes his way up slightly. He's going to try to find his way past Leo Long at this point. Oh, a bit of contact between the two of them to come in, and unfortunately, I think Ethan's going to have to slow down a lot more thanks to that.
A lot of rubber was laid on the track there, as Cameron James comes through in P3 under pressure. Cameron James, Raja goes through. Raja Amrul Shaukat goes through into P3, and somebody has left a lot on the track. Gerlandi Haki, I think it is.
Yep, that's it. Indeed, it was Gerlandi Haki. Just, I think, slid out on the exit here, so he will be rejoining outside of the top 10 right now. Eamon Ryan, in the meantime, has actually made his way up into P5, just behind Cameron James, who attempted to make the move onto Rajamil Shaukat going into the 4th turn, but didn't quite make it stick, though, as Rajamil Shaukat is now about 0.4 of a second ahead of the two of them.
Raja in that racing green colours, so classy on the circuit. Cameron James James just behind him, 3/10 behind. Tries to get into the slipstream. Where do you make a run though here on these faster cars? You wait to the technical area because you're not going to get enough of a drag on these straights because they're straights, but they're not quite long enough.
That's this thing. I mean, if you're like handy enough at your racecraft, perhaps you try to use a lot of do a lot of pressuring when it comes to that part of the circuit, and to hope that you force the car in front into an unforced error. But in the case of drivers like you alluded to, Mohammad Tasbih, he's so metronomic when it comes to his racing that it's impossible to phase him in these kind of battles. And Kanzani Randami is going to have quite the battle in his hand here if he wants to be able to try to fight him for the lead of the race.
Kazani is doing that though. In the meantime, Imran Ryan is having a real pop on the back there and got through ahead of Cameron James. And Cameron then just taps Imran Ryan, and that could be the end of the season for Imran Ryan.
Oh my goodness, he's going to drop down to 9. Denzel is going to be coming through, but he's in the silver class, so he's not going to lose any additional points from this point on. But yeah, that's going to be a huge blow here for Imran Ryan if he's not able to get back into P10 here, because not only he's lost out, from the last round, but if he ends this round with 0 points, that's going to hand a massive, massive advantage now to Mohammad Tasbih.
So Fadli Rakhmat is the man in P5 at the moment. He's the one putting pressure now on Cameron James. Cameron's been involved in a number of situations and he's not responded particularly well so far. Let's see how he can respond to the experience, the canny Indonesian Fadli Rakhmat, as they come into turn number 1. Fadli is right on the tail. Cameron James, you just pick your racing line and put your foot down.
Just hope for the best, really, as you try to make a way through, and just hope that you'll be able to either outbreak your rival or just find a gap to exploit here. But Cameron James is keeping it very, very tight to himself. In fact, forces Fadli to ride over the sausage curb a little bit, but that hasn't quite widened the gap between the two of them. Fadli still remains locked under the bumper. Tries again here from the outside yet again onto this downhill turn. Cameron James again has to try to force him around the outside, but leaves in just that enough space here for Fadli to stay on the track.
And Fadli might try to accelerate through. He's had 2 little goes. He's got the inside line this time. Cameron James is forced wide. Again, it's the double left-hander, and that's good for Fadli Rakhmat. Is he able to get through? And the answer's no. Cameron James, excellent defensive work. He hits a little bit of the gravel, but he holds on to his tenuous lead over Fadli Rakhmat. And then Fadli has another pop, and Cameron once again defends. Great dueling between these two. Excellent defensive work by Cam James.
Yeah, wow. Indeed, that's impressive work there from Cameron James, who was held off Fadli for multiple corners now, pushes him now into the clutches of Alonso Lacambra, who's now actually trying to pressure.
Come on, Alonso. Come on, my friend.
Let's see whether or not he'll be able to do something out of this, but for now, I think the battle for P4 has been put on the cooler for now.
And Sai moves into P5 as well. That's Sai Priti from India for World of Racing. A P2 and a P4 last time, but off the track there. Off the racing line.
Yeah, then a little bit of slide as well for Alonso as he was trying to negotiate his way through. In the meantime, what's going on with the silver class here? It looks like Denzel is getting himself into the mix with some of the gold class drivers here, having to let them through. They are in the faster cars after all, but he remains still in the lead of this race here. Chong Jin Bin now also having to let some of the gold class drivers by. He remains in P2 for now. I think I did see Ethan Lau getting a bit of action earlier on this race, but he still remains frustratingly in the 5th position when it comes to this silver class here. In fact, with Chong Jin Bin and Denzel being that far ahead, I think it's going to be quite difficult for Ethan to actually gain any points out of this. And in fact, still got Sukan Pino, who is still holding him off right now for P4.
Okay, so that's the silver class. They are a little bit further down, as you say, a lot slower. Look top right of your graphic and you can see how it's all being split up. P15 we're on board with, which is Sukan. And now Denzel Waitem, he's the leader. By quite some distance, actually, by 2.5 seconds over Chong.
Yeah, and it's got like a gold class driver in between the two of them, although I would expect by the end of this race, Leo, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, should be able to catch up to Daniel and continue to try to catch up to the rest of the gold class pack here. In the meantime, I was noticing that Kanzani was getting a little bit close to Mohammad Tasbih. attempting to try to put some pressure by forcing that Ferrari into his rearview mirror, I expect.
Does he look like he's under pressure? Bottom right of your screen.
Not really. I mean, it's just cool, calm, and collected as he always is.
He's on a joyride around the CPE or the CTE in Singapore. Empty Sundays. Sai Prithvi in P7 for India, trying to get on the back there of Alonso.
Also going a little bit wide on that turn there.
Everyone seems to go wide on that turn, don't they?
It is slightly faster, to be fair. Like, again, one thing you have to watch out for is like track limits, but that's being governed by the game itself. So if you are able to get away with it, it is a little bit faster, unfortunately. So that's something I think that Alonso is probably banking on right now in his battle with Sai. In the meantime, Imran Ryan, who we saw spun out, has already caught up to Galani Haki, is now going to be fighting him for P9.
Well, that's an impressive recovery from Imran because it was a spectacular way that he disappeared. Sai Prithvi still trying to just make that space up on Alonso, but Alonso has got a good racing line.
Alonso is looking like, at least for that specific corner, I think turn 4, seems to struggle a little bit. I saw a bit of smoke come out from his brakes just now, and he did lose control of the exit just a couple of laps ago. So I think Sai is really using that opportunity to try to keep the gaps close between the two of them.
We're on board with Alonso as they takes this the double left, and then you've got to just get into position for the double right to follow to take us into the home straight.
Yes.
He's looking secure enough, getting up to down to 160 as he takes this right-hand corner. Again, they go wide. Again, we've seen that an awful lot. You go very, very tight over the apex and then go wide once again down this home straight. Alonso has a lead of 0.6 of a second over Sai. Sai's not been able to close in at all on that last lap.
Yeah, still remains frustrating. Still ahead of him for now. Kanzani Randami still also remaining about half a second. And Mohamed Tasbih does close it in a little bit under braking though, but still not close enough to try to be able to pressure Mohamed Tasbih enough for this race here. But at least he's keeping him honest, you know, throughout this year. It's really going to be testing exactly how metronomic Mohamed Tasbih is when it comes to his laps. And especially with Ferrari following close here, Tasbih is definitely going to be very much aware how he's doing relative to what Kanzani Ramdani is able to do.
Yeah, you're on board with Fadli Rahmat once again. Cam James has kept in front of him. We saw him under intense pressure a couple of laps ago, and Cameron James, to his credit, has stayed there. He's 4th in the championship standings, the Malaysian. He had a P3 in Atlanta. Good result.
Yeah, and especially considering that he has a more of a rally racing background, it's quite surprising to see that he's also equally as handy when it comes to on-track action. And in fact, hailing from East Malaysia as well, like a good representation of like the different sides of Malaysia, as it were. And in fact, been running very close into the top 5, if not even not just this season, but even last season when he was in silver class.
Fadli Rahmat is still trying to do the business, and Sai Prithvi, he's got a little bit closer to Alonso now. 0.2 of a second, close enough.
Oh, for Kanzani.
Kanzani, and that is Tasbih. Wow, he went up the inside, and Tasbih has recovered. And Raja is the new P2. That was brave or foolish from Kanzani.
Yeah, Kanzani is going to be able to retake the position here just ahead, but had to waste a lot of brakes there. That's allowed Raja to be able to get a run up back against him. What started off as Kanzani pressuring Tasbih has now left him under pressure here. Or rather, has lost that pressure here, lost the position to Raja Meo Shaukat, who has now been handed a lifeline here to get back up into P2.
Kanzani from Balapam Random Motorsports, a P1 in Shanghai. He's not going to get a P1 here, not with 3 minutes to go. In fact, he's just in a podium position at the moment. Overly aggressive, I would argue, which I love to see, but overly aggressive nonetheless.
Yeah, they definitely must have tried to make a very, very deep move there into turn 4 and didn't quite pay off. So that's unfortunately pushed him down. Another position here, and Tasbih is now sailing away 1.6 seconds in the lead. In fact, he's already cutting some of the back markers from the silver class now, so that's going to put even more distance between himself and this battle for P2.
Yeah, you're quite right there. Silver between the championship leader. Kanzani Ramdani in the Ferrari went for broke and broke it. Instead, it's Raja, who's second in the championship standings. Raja Shaukat, the Malaysian, behind the Singaporean. Ethan Lowe. Now then, that is for P5.
Yeah, I think the silver class P5 here. And in fact, Savin Prapachov is also getting himself into the mix as well, getting the slipstream off of Ethan Lowe's car. He's going to be the one fighting him for position instead. Whereas Ethan Lowe is not able to close the gap between himself and Sukampinho this time. Ooh, Ethan Lowe still barely keeps the door closed there onto Savin as they come out of the turn.
Silver class. Denzel has just lost the lead there. Or has he won it back? They are 1 and 2 in the silver class. Denzel Weitam under pressure from Chong.
Yeah, that was a fight for the lead inside the silver class here. Chong Jin-bin looks like he's already closed up massively onto Denzel Weitan. I wonder what exactly happened. Was it a mistake on the part of Denzel? Or was Chong really just that much faster? But regardless, that looks like a battle for the lead here inside the silver class.
Very good question, because Denzel had quite a significant lead over Chong Jin-bin. And this is for the lead in the silver class. 1:25 to go. Tasby has a big lead in the gold class. The battle for P2 is quite interesting, as is the battle for P6.
I mean, Sai was getting close, but Alonso Cambra, in spite of the squirrely part, and especially this part of the track, throws it out there. And Sai Persistently will be able to push his way through, gets himself up into P6.
So Sai takes advantage. Perfect timing with your camera. Denzel Weitam still leads the way. Sai.
Yep, now Kenny cut on the inside there, but Alonso Lacambra still hung out to the outside coming in the next turn here. Sai still remains in P6 for now.
Okay, Alonso is going to have a little go here as we come back once again to the silver class. This is P1 at the moment.
Yeah, 30 seconds still remain here. I think Tasbe will be able to beat the line, so there may be another lap in store here for the battlers out on track. So just a recap right now, that's going to be between Rajat Shaukat and ooh, he just literally shoved that silver class driver out of the way there. But that's allowed Kazani Ramdani to get a run up against him just in the nick of time. Gets himself ahead of Raja here. Can he keep better braking? Yes, he will. Moves back up into P2.
Well done by Kanzani. Saw the opportunity when Raja Amaral was just held up by the silver class, and that's the kind of problems we were talking about before the race of the two categories in one. But I tell you what, Raja Amaral's not going to give this one up. A little bit squirrely, to borrow your adjective from before, but he cannot accelerate up the hill.
Yeah, but still remains a 1/10 of a second close here to Kanzani Ramdani. He may be able to get a bit of momentum shift here but then coming downhill, it's going to be all about the braking here. Has to keep it nice and ginger and keep that car in the racing line. Kanzani just barely touches the outside gravel trap there, but still remains ahead of Raja throughout all of that.
Double left-hander. This is one of the last opportunities that he will have. Oh, just a little bit onto the gravel there for Kanzani. Kanzani's got to keep his cool. He's shown that he's lost his head a couple of times already today, but at the moment he's holding on. Behind them, what's this, Leo Lung? Where's this?
Yeah, this is in P11 right now, gold class, but two of them actually were passing each other here. Leo Lung was actually ahead of Galandi Haki until just moments before. Now they're going to be fighting their way here. I think Mohammad Tasbe is now coming to take the checkered flag. He takes the win here in race number 1. Kanzani Ramdani and Raja literally were racing to the line. A 1/10 of a second ahead is Kanzani Ramdani to keep P2. Cameron James makes it into P4, and P5 goes to Fadi Rahmat. Priti Sudhakar makes it to P6. Alonso Cambra only has to settle for P7. Keith Moore makes it up to P8. Iman Ryan makes it to P9. And Gurley Hockey should be coming to the checker flag now to round out P10. Now, how it is for our silver class drivers. Looks like Chong Jin Bin and Denzel now have a 1 second gap between the two of them. So I think Denzel should be able to take the win here for the silver class in race 1. Chong Jin Bin settles for P2. And Francis Alonso Gonzalez should be able to come P3 here for the silver class. Alberto Miguel Descalzo makes it into P4, Campino in P5, and then we got Muhammad Fawzul Alim in P6, and Savin Prapachov makes it up to P7.
Well, what a battle that was between Kanzani and Raja. Kanzani holding on by 600ths of a second, isn't it? 376 to 424.
Yeah,
that is tight. That is tight.
So now we'll see how it is here, but definitely Mama Tasbe adds another cap to his feather here. Will remain in the lead of the championship here, very much and very much.
Well, it was from flag to finish.
Exactly.
Terrific.
Like a grand slam, if there ever was one here for Mama Tasbe. So yeah, very handily done here. Kanzai Randy still going to be taking a victory lap around this, especially after that head-to-head there with Raja Mio Shaukat towards the end of the race. And Raja, well, that was still a very exciting finish between the two of them.
The good news for Ryan Imam is that he came ninth, so he'll be on the front row of the grid in the reverse grid race. Sorry, Iman Ryan.
Yeah.
He'll be on the front row of the grid in the reverse grid race. So it's not catastrophic, that P9 finish.
Not at all. Again, he will still have an opportunity to try to regain some points here, although it is race number 2. It's a little bit less points for the win here compared to race 1, but it's still going to be damage recovery nevertheless, especially considering that Iman, you know, up until round 2 where he had to miss out the race, was in the lead of the championship, has now effectively handed it to Mama Tasbe, but still has enough opportunity here in race number 2. And I think another point of detail as well is that with Denzel finishing in P12, in spite of the fact that he won in the silver class, would not be able to enjoy what the previous silver class winners had in the other rounds where they were inside the top 10, actually got the reverse grid. So they actually started like 10 cars ahead of P2 in the silver class.
But it's not going to work this time. He's going to be along the same, well, one place ahead of Chong, one row ahead of Chong. So he should, providing he gets a good start and the car in front of him gets a good start, he may well be able to take advantage. But that was an excellent performance by him to win it by a second in that silver category.
Yeah, and it was already getting very close between the two of them towards the end of the race. But good to see that he recovered pretty well out of that. So now remains up in the top. So, well, we'll see how he turns out now for race number 2 here, Des.
Apisak came 10th in 8th. In the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th. Yes.
Yeah, 8th.
So he'll pick up some reasonable points. Whether or not enough to hold on to his lead, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, race number 2, the reverse grid race, is just a few seconds away. Keith Moe on pole, Alonso alongside him on the front row. Sai Pridi from India on the second row in P3 alongside Fadli Rahmat from Indonesia. Cameron James, who I liked his performance on the third row. James is alongside Raja Amral Shaukat in P6. P7, Kanzani Ramdani, P8. I'm not quite sure we've got this one right. Mohammad Tasbi.
I believe it's a top 8 that's being reversed.
Oh, top 8
here.
is it reversed,
yeah,
so it's not 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Imran Ryan, he's actually going to be starting close to Mama Tasbe this time.
But he misses out on that bonus. My apologies.
Right.
I should read the rules.
Yeah, well, in any case for Imran Ryan, I mean, he will have a chance against Mama Tasbe, but nevertheless, it's still going to be a very difficult championship battle for him here on out.
Okay, 3 seconds. We are up and running. And the start from Keith Moe. Is a steady start.
Yep, but I think Alonso is actually trying to catch him now going into turn 1. In fact, he's already been able to cut him through the braking, though. Gets into the lead, does the Peugeot. And Saisuti Sudakar is also going to be able to cut ahead of Keith Moe and moves up into P2. Or will he be able to keep that P2, though? Keith will have the inside going into the next turn. Rajamal Shaukat is still hanging around the back there. I don't think he's going to be able to capitalize on this too much. A lot of brake dust coming out here from Alonso Cambra here as he attempts to try to keep himself in the lead, but Keith Moe is now going to be all over him going into the technical section.
I thought Keith Moe got off to such a conservative start and then just broke so early. He's recovered, though. This is an excellent recovery to get himself back into the lead, or has he got himself? Yes, he has indeed. Overtakes Alonso, and Sai holds on to P3. Behind them, Kanzani on a very good weekend is into P4. But, well, what a strange one that was from Keith Moe.
Indeed it was. I guess he must have maybe held back on the brakes a little bit, knowing that it's going to be a bit cold going into the turn, but then again, that's already lost in a position to Alonso. He did manage to recover it through the lap, though, so that's full credit to him. In the meantime, Raja under massive pressure here as he lost a position there to Kanzai Ramdani. He's going to be under threat to lose a position to Iman Ryan, who's actually made his way up from P9 all the way to P5.
P11 wasn't Iman Ryan because he... Oh, no, P9. It was only A3 reverse grid.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah, so that's a good climb up here for Iman Ryan, who gets himself between Sai Sudakar as well as Raja Shaukat. In fact, he's going to be alongside the Raja now going into turn 4. Let's see if he's going to be able to keep that position though. Still sticks it nice and tidy here. Has to hang around the outside, goes way over the curb there. That's going to hand the position back to Raja Shaukat.
However, he's proven that he's got the straight line speed and he won't be overly discouraged by that, Iman Ryan. He's got plenty of time left to have another little pop. Behind him, you've got Fadli Rakhmat and Sai also involved. There is Fadli Rakhmat. I do like the way Fadli drives. I think I love his aggression, but he's going to have to be aggressive from P7 at the moment. Cam James in P10, another...
big hit there behind onto Galandi Haki, spitting out the two of them. I think Cameron James will be able to rejoin while Galandi has to rejoin slowly and is going to be outside of the points for race number 2. Fauza Alim will be able to capitalize on that though, as now he's going to be the one getting himself alongside Cameron James here to try to fight for P11.
Tasby moves up into P9 as a result of that. There is Tasby leading that group. It's remarkable how often Tasby comes out of a chaotic situation leading the way.
Yep, well, Kanzani Ramdani is getting racy yet again. He's on the podium for the second time in a row here, and is looking like he's going to try to take P2 for the second time in a row here. We have Alonso Lacambra a little bit slow coming out of these few laps here. Kanzani is going to be now coming around the outside here, braking very late and hard, stays within the sausage curve to stay ahead of Alonso Marcus Lacambra.
Yeah, Alonso just didn't get that one right, and Kanzani, who's been very aggressive, overly aggressive, I thought, in race number 1, but it's worked well for him here. Keith Moe is leading by a second, but Kanzani has got him in his sights, I think, and that Ferrari is looking pretty quick. He's moving away from Alonso already. Yeah. He's taken 7/10 off him, and so he's got Keith Moe in his sights. Behind them, Galando involved in another incident.
Leo Lung is the one who's actually spun around here, and Cameron James as well, a little bit slow as he attempts to find a way to get a rejoin. Oh, I think that was a little bit too close there for Leo Lung as he dives out of the way of the silver class drivers just in the nick of time. But that's very unfortunate for the two of them. I think, yeah, that's very much going to put them way out of race number 2.
Certainly is. Right then, this is Kanzani. Has he closed up on Keith? He has, you know. He has closed up. He's taken half a second off him in this last half lap as they come into the start of lap number 4. 3 laps completed, and Keith Moe, who's had it quite serene since the 3rd corner, suddenly finds himself under Ramdani pressure.
Yeah, well, just riding over the grass as well here. Kanzani Ramdani, in order to stay on the inside of the turn, will be able to cut Keith Moe by the time he comes around to that, stays within the limits and stays in the lead of the race here, Kanzani Ramdani.
That's the move he tried on Tasby in race number 1. Tasby cut him down. Keith Moe, a little bit more gentlemanly.
Very gentle for a very, very young boy out on track here, but still remains close enough to try to hopefully hang on to Kanzani Ramdani for the battle for the lead. In the meantime, Raja is already catching up to Alonso as well, so it looks like he's going to be looking to make his way up into the podium here, does Raja?
He certainly does, and Iman is in P5, has some work to do. He's under pressure from Fadli Rakhmat. Tasby is closing in on that group of leading 7 racers. There is Tasby. Goes under the signpost. Championship leader, winner of race number 1. Again, uses the full track limits. You're quite right. You go wide, you slingshot down to this home straight. Sai Prithvi will be the first one from India within the sights of the Singaporean championship leader.
Yep. In the meantime, for the silver class here, Denzel Waitan actually has a brilliant start for the race here. He's already 1.2 seconds ahead of Alberto Miguel Descalzo, who actually made his way up into P2 here, ahead of Sucampino, who's now trying to chase him hard here for P2 in the silver class. Savin Prapichop is going to be the one just behind the two of them, while Ethan Lau is the one giving chase. Azib Shabmi Mokhtar is also in the mix as well as our leader in the silver class. Chester Elok is right now still 8 positions down from the rest of them. Now he's trying to get a deep move on the inside of Azib. Didn't quite make it stick though. Had to lock up his wheels there to avoid contact.
It was so tight at the top of the championship in the silver that this is a very, very good day for Denzel Waitan. He was 5th on 40 points, but only 9 adrift of Apisak coming into today. And Denzel, he won the silver class race number 1, and he's winning this second one here as well.
Yep, and I think Sai is looking to try to win P6 here from Fadli Rachmat, but it's not going to be too easy to get past the very feisty Indonesian here. Coming around the final corner, literally jumps himself over the curbs there in order to try to gain some time, but I think that's actually lost him time, in fact. In the meantime, I think Raja is already trying to make a move onto Alonso when he comes into turn 1. Didn't quite make it stick, though, as Alonso still remains ahead, but he's a little bit slow on the exit. Raja's going to have to run up against him here going into turn 3. This is looking feisty now.
It certainly is. Where's the space? Because him and Ryan is just waiting behind for these to lock up and cause problems with each other. They both go wide and Im and Ryan goes through. Certainly takes one place. Does he take two? He does indeed. Im and Ryan from 5 to 3 in a single corner.
Look at that. Oh! Clatters into the back there. Does Rajamil shotgun forcing run into the gravel. That's going to be grounds for a protest there, I say.
But it's not much fun for Im and Ryan because all that work drops him down to P8 and Tasby goes up ahead of him into P7.
Yeah.
Oh, Im and Ryan.
Oh, man, that's just bad luck there. And, well, that's going to be concerning here from Raja because that's literally
That's a penalty.
Yeah, that's going to be a penalty for sure when reviewed by the stewards. So we'll see. Alonso Macambra, though, going to be a little bit, feeling a little bit lucky that he wasn't the one getting clattered in the back here by Raja. He's going to have another opportunity to try to fight him for a place on the podium.
Just under 7 minutes to go as Galandi Haki goes close with Francis Angelo Gonzalez. It's always a Gonzalez from Philippines, isn't it? It's great. Mohamed Faisal Alim in there as well. Is it the same Angelo Gonzalez from... Probably is.
Probably is, actually, if you're thinking about from silver class.
Yes, yes.
I mean, probably, he's in gold class now, so definitely has made the move up, although I think the move has already been made there. In the meantime, more moves being made here. Sai City Pitakar actually made his way up past both Alonso as well as Fadli Rachmat.
That's impressive. We've seen that a couple of times where the race is going on and somebody lurks just behind and takes advantage to take not one but two positions. Sucampino is there, third place coming into this weekend in the silver class. And at the moment he's second. He's got ahead of Alberto. He's in a race with Alberto. This is for P2 in silver. And Sucampino in the sky blue, in the lighter blue, forces his man off the racing line. And behind them was that Savin, also trying to capitalize, also in that silver class.
Just taking off the momentum, this tumbling there for Alberto to try to take the inside in the next turn. Cannot quite close the door yet. Alberto is still remaining alongside. A bit of contact between the two of them. That's actually opened up an opportunity for Chesa Elon maybe to capitalize, but he's still being blocked by Alberto through all of that. Sabin will be able to move up now, tries to close, tries to lead up ahead, and Ethan Lowe actually moves up ahead of Alberto to take up the 4th position here in silver class.
That's fantastic. All of those 4 are involved in a silver class battle for position. In the meantime, Kanzani is leading. What has happened to Tasby?
Kanzani was already...
Oh, sorry, I'm thinking the race before. Tasby was P7, yes. Kanzani was always leading.
Yeah, he confused me for a second there because I thought Tasby was like in the P6. Well, he is in P6 now, still locked in the battle here. 3-way battle for P5. Just cut Alonso. Yeah, just taking Alonso there for a position. Now is going to be putting the pressure on the Fadli Rachmat.
So there is Fadli Rachmat in the red. There is the indomitable, the inscrutable Mohamed Tasby. His positions so far in this season: 2, 2, 1, and 7 for Not Amigos Racing.
Pretty much racing for himself now in this little championship here.
To be fair, though, Alonso hasn't really given this up.
Yeah,
Alonso's coming on the back of him, trying to put some pressure on Tasby. Alonso Marcus Lacambra.
Still trying, loses out a little bit on the exit coming out of turn 1, though, so that's not going to work out well for him if he wants to try to fight Tasby for position. Tasby, in the meantime, not able to close up, maybe closes up a little bit under braking, but Fadli Rachmat, it's not going to be easy one to pass here out on track, and with 3.5 minutes or a bit to go.
Yeah, how many laps is that? That's another 3.5 laps, isn't it, for Kanzani?
Pretty much, I think. So there's still opportunities, but I think Fadli has done very well to keep himself in this P5 position.
But he's under pressure from Tasby. That's the man you don't want in your rearview mirror. And Tasby is just easing away from Alonso, but Alonso's making life difficult for him. Alonso Lacambra from Philippines. But Tasby is metronomic. You used that word before, and it's absolutely perfect. He hits the right lines. Here's Chester Ilog in the meantime in this crazy battle in the silver category.
Yeah, and Azib Shami Mokhtar goes a little bit wide, though. That's going to open up the door here for Chester, or maybe even Savin Prabhachop, who attempted to move on the inside, but Chester blocks him off just in time to try to hold his track position. But unfortunately, that's allowed Azib to now pull up ahead here, and Chester loses out the gap between him, now having to defend against Savin Prabhachop here for what is going to be, what, P6 or P7?
Gosh. Nearly surfed along the surface there, loses a place as a result. This is Cameron James who got ahead. Cameron James is in the gold category, so it's not particularly damaging for Chester Ilog.
Not at all, but it's a bit of a disruption, if anything, here, especially if Cameron James does catch up, and they will catch up here to the silver class, given that they are in faster cars here. In fact, it's going to cut around the inside of Chester Ilog here, and doesn't really give him too much room, forcing him to ride over the sausage curbs out of turn 1.
2 minutes to go. This is Tasby right on the heel of Fadli Rakhmat. Behind him, Alonso hasn't given this one up, and to be fair, Fadli Rakhmat has defended pretty well so far against Mohamed Tasby. The Singaporean will be just turning the screw, will be getting as close as he can without taking too many risks. He doesn't need to take risks. 6th is a very nice place for him to be, particularly as Raja. Where's Raja? A long way down. Oh, 3rd. In 3rd, so Raja won't make up that many points on Tasby.
In spite of the fact that he lost up positions here, but he still remains 2 cars clear of Mohamed Tasby, at least in terms of position. So I think he could be pretty secure in that for now, that he knows that he's going to be able to edge away somewhat at the Tasby's lead. But I think Tasby, by finishing P6 here, even here in race number 2, that's still going to give him a huge haul of points coming out of this round alone.
Okay, 1.5 laps to go. 1 minute left on the clock. There's half a lap left for the race leader, Kanzani. In the meantime, we're looking at the silver class, Chester Ilog.
Still trying to make his way up. I mean, the leader in the silver class, and it's quite far back from the current leader in the silver class here. Look at that, it's 3 whole seconds clear of Sucampino. He's very much going to have a very fun Friday night drive here, just to be able to make it back-to-back wins inside the silver class alone.
New championship leader.
Rajamil Shaukat now within half a second of Keith Moore. Maybe he's going to try to set it up, but I think our race leader Kanzani will be able to beat the clock. This will be the final lap here, Des.
Yep, Kanzani Ramdani. Very good exhibition from him today. I was a little bit critical of him for being overly aggressive in race number 1, but that aggression has continued in race number 2, and he comes into what should be a victory lap. In the meantime, Rakhmat under pressure from Tasby. Tasby would like to get into P5, but I bet isn't going to risk too much. Back markers cause a problem for Fadli Rakhmat, who just needs to believe he can keep the racing line. Tasby up the inside. What's the drive like out? It's good for Fadli Rakhmat, but Tasby can get on his tail once again.
Yep, still stays there in position, though. Fadli has done incredible throughout this race here in order to stay in P5 for the longest time, especially against Tasby, the winner of race number 1. In spite of that, still has to fight his way out. And only been able to make up a few places in that regard, having started in P8. Rajamil Shaka getting closer and closer to Keith Moore, and there's a bit of traffic, I think, in front of them. So that might open up an opportunity, or okay.
Nicely done, nicely done.
Yep, just stays out of the way there, allowing these two to be on their merry way. Kanzani Ramdani, though, is coming around the final quarter to pick up the race win that he missed out on when he came to race 1. He does make it here in race number 2.
Yeah, Kanzani takes it. Keith Moore will come through just ahead of Roger, just ahead. 0.04 of a second clear. Sai in 4. Fadli ahead of Tasby by 0.05 of a second in 5. Alonso, Iman Ryan, Mohammed A in P9 comes through now. Again, 100th clear of Halandi in the silver class. Denzel, a race double for Denzel Waiton. That is a terrific weekend, Victor, for Denzel Waiton.
Terrific indeed. I mean, what a huge lead he had ahead of Sukan Pino, who right now is a little bit of a battle with Cameron James, but that's not going to be for position here in the silver class. Cameron James is giving a little love tap in the back here to express his frustration, but nevertheless, Sukan Pino finishes in P2. Ethan Lowe makes it up into P3 here in the silver class. Alberto, who at one point was in second place, had to settle for fourth position here. Jessa Elog, leader coming into round number 3, finishes in P5 for the silver class. Azip, who he's already left the server here, makes it up into P6, and Chong Jin Bin makes it P7, and Savin Prapajop makes it to P8.
Well, for the silver class, for Apisak, the former championship leader, he will no longer be the championship leader. For Kanzani Ramdani, well, that's a very nice weekend's work. He will improve definitely from 6th place, and it's his second race win of this season. He won race number 2 in the opening round in Shanghai. Now he's won race number 2 here at the Red Bull Ring.
There we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the end of round number 3 here at Red Bull Ring. Only one more round still remains, but that's going to be a story for next week. And, well, interesting sort of races that we had here today so far. I mean, we're expecting a lot more action coming out of the copper class itself, but that actually turned out pretty nice and tidy, all things considered. Bronze class itself, for a couple of really good races, and I think gold class was where like a lot more of the mistakes I think were being shown out here. I mean, big collisions going on in the first lap, but things pretty much tidied themselves by the end.
But Ramdani, yeah, Ramdani sorted it out. I was critical of him for trying to take on Tasby, but maybe that's because I'm a Tasby biased. I think he's such a wonderful racer, and he's justifiably increased his lead at the top of the standings, winning race 1, 6th place in race number 2. He's conservative when he needs to be, he's aggressive when he needs to be, and he's a potential champion, certainly the championship leader in the gold class.
Yep, so that's how it's already turned out here. So make sure you guys stay tuned for next week. This is going to be the final round of GE18, and after that, we're going to be finding out who is going to be the overall champion across all 4 of our classes here. Any last thoughts you'd like to lead the crowd with?
I enjoyed the Red Bull Ring. I'm always keen to find out what the next circuit will be. We don't know, so I'll keep an eye out on Facebook. Keep an eye out on Facebook just in case there's any appeals, any protests. That might impact things. So, not very good racing. As always, eRacing GP continues to impress, continues to bring in the races as well. Delighted that you're still all enjoying it. And from myself, Des Corkill, and Victor, good night for now.